And now, Houston, Texas, make some noise because the time for talk is over. It's time to unleash the fury.
Oh, there it is.
Oh, nice.
See that?
I like that.
Yes, when you turn it up,
Turn
see
it
the
up.
bump box
Hit
logo.
the lights, Rich. Let's see how this shit
The
looks.
bump
in the dark.
box ice shaker. Hey, Trey, I need one of those.
You hear that, Trey? Hey, this is clean though, man. Shout out to Bump Box for the little free gift.
Yeah, Trey.
Pick one up on bumpbox.com for only $90.
Boom, yeah, man. Hey, Trey can help sell those whenever he comes on the podcast soon.
He's coming.
Yeah, he said he's gonna come on the
Hey, listen,
podcast,
you
right?
You go on there right now and you buy this and you get a free pager. Get the big
Damn.
free pager.
The 90s are calling.
Get your Astros pager.
Hey,
See they
and
got the Astros pager?
if you're in Houston and you go and you buy one of these and you want to come out to your Fury show, go buy you a bump box, send us the receipt, and we will give you a free hug at the show.
What?
Free hugs.
Wow.
Free hugs all day.
all day
You
long.
can hug
Man.
Diego all day. Diego, you
I've-
up to hug some fans?
Yeah, sure. I get good hugs.
Even if they're not Asians.
I'm an equal opportunity.
Hey, to be
hug.
clear, I did not say mouth hug. I just said regular hug. Just hug, right? You good? We good?
We said hug, not rub and tug.
All right.
Rub and tug. Man, it's early to start the rub and tugs already.
That's
We're-
Diego's thing.
What
We
is
are
this thing?
already off the rails. And we don't even have any howler on the table.
So just to be clear, I've always, are you a lotion or an oil guy? Like, do you want?
No comment.
You don't like? Oh, you're good either way. All right, yeah, yeah.
Either works, as long as it's not dry.
Diego would like to invoke
Hey,
his Fifth
as long as it's not
Amendment
dry.
right afforded under the Constitution
Hey, as
of the
long
United
as it's
States.
not dry, calloused hands.
No, he likes those.
Diego,
You like
Extra
those?
grip, extra
Diego-
Dry,
attraction there.
calloused hands.
wait, Diego just likes those tiny little hands.
Oh, man.
Little Asian lady.
All right, guys. Hey, so
Bong Chu.
we're coming off a good weekend of fights, man.
Where? Oh, Fury. Yeah.
They had Abu Dhabi, too, or no?
There.
Yeah.
No. Was Abu Dhabi this weekend?
It was Saturday.
Yeah, it was Saturday.
Right
we
after
had other
weigh-ins.
things going on. It was like
We had
Saturday
ceremonials?
before anybody
Oh.
woke up.
Oh, Abu Dhabi. I was thinking of ADCC for some reason. I was
Nah,
like, what?
No, thanks.
What's that?
We don't talk about that.
Oh, ADCC?
Yeah, we don't talk about that.
That's some bullshit.
That's an 80s band, right?
Abu Dhabi did go down this
there you go.
weekend.
80
Did y'all watch the fights? 'Cause I know we had weigh-ins and then I ran home.
Yeah, I was
Did you buy them or just stream them?
streamed them.
Streamed them.
Streamed them.
Diego, did you buy them?
I was working.
Wayne,
What are we talking about?
did you illegally stream the fights?
I'd never illegally stream
Man, I bought
anything.
my shit.
Yeah, man. I'm
I got a Fight Pass account. I bought my shit.
too busy to go through the trouble of illegally downloading
Did you
shit
guys?
like that.
Did you guys?
I'm
did
not
you
going
guys-
to jail for $80. One,
Did you guys?
Rich.
Did you guys watch the fights?
Yeah.
Like anybody actually watch the extra live fights?
I did. Well, I watched the main card, the last few of the main card,
What'd you think?
and to be clear, like my son had already bought it before I even fucking got home.
So you didn't have a chance to illegally stream it. He had already
Yeah,
done it. Yeah, I
so
get it.
My American Express is tied into our account, and he just saved it. And
Same thing. I walked in the door thinking like I was like, oh, like maybe I'll look up a link or something, pop
Devin
it
had
on.
already
Devin
bought
already
it.
had it on the screen. I'm
There
like,
you
all
go.
right, well,
illegal.
I'm like, I'm sure.
So listen, when the cops show up, you just point to Devin.
No, he paid for it.
Oh, okay.
Well, I paid for
He
it.
paid for it with your
Yeah,
card.
he paid for it with my card.
That's how it works.
Thanks,
man.
son.
how it works.
It was a kind of a fun card, I guess. It was kind of. What do you think about the main event? Islam knocking out Volk. How much you credit
that's
that
the way
to?
he needed to win, right?
Yeah. Is it the same knowing that Volk took that fight on like 8 days' notice?
I don't think so.
Yeah, the first one went the distance, right?
First one went the distance.
Okay.
It was a really close fight.
Let me look at this card real quick. You got it pulled up?
No.
Diego, you got it pulled up on the
I'm
screen?
working
Oh, I
off.
forgot,
I'm working
you
off
forgot.
memory, baby. I'm working off memory.
Diego
What was
should
that?
have it
UFC
pulled up right here.
294.
All right, so we had Volk and Makachev.
So Makachev and Volk. Volk gets knocked out.
That's first round?
First round knockout. Yeah.
Head kick.
Head kick.
Yeah.
Head kick. Just a little bit of ground and
It's
pound.
legit, man. It's fucking legit. What do you think about Usman?
In the moment, I wasn't. I don't know if I was less impressed with Usman or I was like just not overwhelmed with Hamzat in this fight. The first round, like he clearly dominated Usman, but in the second and third rounds, I mean, you can give the second round to Usman. A lot of people did. I think some of the judges did actually, and the third round, Khamzat did a little bit more, but I feel like if you are fighting, to be clear, Usman is an undersized 185er.
Right.
And you're fighting an undersized 185er on 11 days' notice coming up to fight you, and I think you have to do more to actively try and put him away. Like, you have to actively try and put him away, and you need to take a little bit more risks during that fight. Khamzat is known as this wild man. Nobody wants to fight him, all this crazy stuff. Well, I didn't see that. I saw a guy who really showed a lot of respect to Usman.
I agree.
Which is deserved. Like, Usman deserves all that respect, but at the same time, dude, you got to go for it. Like, you need to make a statement.
I expected a finish.
I expected to finish,
did
too.
expect to finish.
He needed to do what Islam did. Islam made a statement.
Right.
Hey,
He
I'm
let
the
him know,
baddest
I'm not
dude out
fucking
here.
around. Yeah.
It is the exact same situation. A smaller guy coming up to his weight class, and he made a statement this time. Usman, people are giving Usman a lot of credit.
So what happens to Khamzat now? Does he get the title fight?
I don't know if he beats Sean Strickland, even if he does.
Strickland seems to think that Khamzat needs another one with somebody else.
I don't blame him. He has who's he beat at 85?
That's what he said. Basically, he just said you just fought a welterweight.
Yeah.
Everything you just said, he basically said.
I mean,
impressed.
I think he should fight
I'll tell you this:
Costa.
if he does fight Strickland and Strickland's the underdog, I'm betting my house on it.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
So
For sure.
Sean Strickland
Strickland's
don't make me a
very,
homeless
very
man.
underrated. Like, he is a black belt in jiu-jitsu, even though he talks all the time about not giving a shit about it, and
Is Lance going to be in Strickland's corner?
the greatest cornerman of
All
all
right,
time.
yeah.
The greatest cornerman of all
And I'm
time.
really,
on
if Lance
Strickland.
is in his corner, I'm
Yeah.
really
Is it Lance Spade? Is it Spade?
Pretty sure
Or
it's Spade.
Spade?
Spod.
Spade?
I think it's Spod.
Spode?
He's a vegan though.
He's a vegan. It doesn't.
Yeah, so he
matter.
might pronounce the E then.
It doesn't even matter.
Vegan.
It doesn't even matter. Hey, I just realized that someone we're relatively close to just a few months ago is gluten-free and not vegan. I didn't know those were two different things.
Those are two different things.
So she's been coming to our house for like a year. Shout out to Channing. She actually Del Fuego, Vic's fiance. Congratulations on ruining your life, guys. But they come to our house for
Fiance?
come to our house for a couple years, and I keep buying I'm like, grab her a bag of cucumbers, or like, here's a bag of hay. And I'll bring back that. And then so this was about 6 months ago. I'm out after I'm grilling, and they come walking up. I'm like, hey, I got some Impossible, and you can't believe it's not meat or whatever the fuck it is over here for you.
You
She's
bought
like,
that just for her?
yeah,
Or you eat that
just
shit?
for her. And so she's like, okay, I'm not a vegetarian, right? And I'm like, what? She's like, I can't eat gluten. And I was like, oh. Isn't that, you're not a vegetarian? It's like, I just thought you were special. I didn't know, like, what. So I've been buying this chick this whole time. She's been coming over to our house for a couple years now. They've been together. And I've been buying vegetarian options at our house for someone who just can't eat
It's
everything.
like, no, give me a steak, asshole.
Yeah, that's exactly what she said. I don't
Can
know
have
what
some real meat.
I don't know what to do with people when they come to my house and they want something that's like not already on the menu. I don't know what to do with that. Like, you come over to my house and
You gotta be
you
prepared
don't
for shit
you
like
don't
that.
eat X. Well, then you should bring your own food.
Yeah,
Like, if you come to my house and you don't drink whatever I'm drinking, well, then you should have brought your own drink.
Yeah.
Like, if you have a special dietary need, piss off. Like, take care of yourself. Be prepared
Bring your
whenever.
own shit.
Yeah, bring your shit. If you only eat mac and cheese,
Your kid only eats chicken nuggets? Oh, did you stop at McDonald's?
I'm sorry, our kid can't eat the hot dogs. Everybody else, he only eats
I'm
Dino
so sorry
Nuggies.
you're hungry, buddy.
Did you bring a cooler of Dino Nuggies?
I feel like people might look at me like that when I tell them I'm on keto, and I show up to their fucking house.
Sometimes.
And,
Yeah, we do. Yeah.
Sometimes.
but then I
yeah.
just won't eat. If I see that shit, I'm not gonna be a pain in the ass. But, I just ate. I'm good.
Yeah,
Eric,
but
why aren't
you
you
don't
eating
do
this
the-
pasta carbonara?
You don't do the one of the things I can't say when I go to like a restaurant with somebody and someone in the group will be like, hey, by the way, I'm insert whatever is wrong with you. I don't eat cow brains,
The
whatever
thing.
it is.
Right.
Yeah.
And like just
we
don't
fucking go
order
to
shit that
Golden
has that
Steer
in it. Why are
Steakhouse
we
and you
taking
don't
the
have a
time
fucking
to tell
steak.
people about you?
Special announcement.
I've never heard you go, I'm keto. You just go, hey, just give me the burger. Can I take the bun off? Okay.
Yeah.
Like it's never this
I don't
weird
announce
thing.
the shit to the
Yeah.
world.
Eric doesn't make it somebody else's issue to deal with.
No, I'll deal with it myself. I just won't eat.
I'll wait till I
That's
get
one
home.
way.
I'll wait till I get home like an adult, like
Fucking
my
drink
mom
water.
used to tell me. Like, we got
water.
McDonald's at home. Shit. I know what that means.
man.
What about Johnny Walker?
I mean, it's not that good.
Red?
Like,
What?
I'd
What are
rather,
you
doing? The
I'd rather
fight, you
Jim
dumbass.
Beam.
Oh,
All
yeah.
right.
I don't know where we're going with that. I didn't watch the fights last week.
Him and Akalev.
I think he got screwed in that fight.
I mean, what do you think about the answer that he gave when they asked him
I'm
where
in
he's
the
at?
desert?
Yeah.
Fucking great.
I mean,
That's
he's
great.
not lying.
He's not lying. He's
I
in
love
the
that.
desert.
I love that
You
Dana
also-
said, I mean, he's not lying.
There needs to be
Right.
some there's probably a language barrier there as well.
Well, I mean, that was an American doctor.
Right, but he's Brazilian. He doesn't speak, like, extremely great.
Well, if you listen to him on Ariel Hawani podcast, he sounded like he could speak English decent.
Listen, in the moment, you're in the middle, you're hyped up, you're in a fight. I don't think he's thinking about the extra time to translate shit. He's like, I'm in the desert, man. I just got kneed in the head. It should have been a DQ.
Yeah. It was
Like,
no
like,
contest.
It should have been. It should have been a DQ. Yeah, like this.
Yeah, but he looked
1,000%.
fine, though.
He does should have been a DQ. It was an illegal strike, and if we're gonna, I'm so sick of hearing, and we hear it every fight. Hey, this is your final warning,
Yeah.
and that never fucking happens. You walk out to the cage. Fighter A grabs the cage. Fighter A pokes somebody in the eye. Fighter A kicks him in the nuts. Whatever it may be. What do we get? We get an additional warning, and maybe 2 or 3 on top of that. And it's every fight we see this.
Yeah.
And Johnny Walker should be upset. He should be upset that, hey, this should have been a DQ. You threw an illegal strike that compromised me. That's it.
I mean, do you think that they give him so many warnings because they want to see the fight go on?
Well, then why give him a warning at all?
Yeah, just say, hey,
Just
do
to
like the
fucking look
WWE
like they're
refs
doing
do,
their
just
job.
threaten
I mean,
with like a
I think-
disqualification or something.
I think if
and
you
not actually do anything.
I think if people were to actually enforce
You know, this is spiked cherry coke.
spiked
That's a
with,
lie.
spiked with Howlerhead whiskey
There
today.
you go.
Mari's DNA results prove that's a lie.
It's spiked with Howlerhead whiskey and Live Oak vodka in there.
Wouldn't that be nice?
I think that if more referees started actually enforcing the rules the way that they're set up to be, that you would see less fouls, because people will be more intentional with their strikes. Because look, it's
They'd be scared to get DQ'd on the first time they do it.
you should be.
Yeah.
You should be. Maybe you should.
I
Think,
mean, sometimes
look,
it
you're a
is accidental, though.
Most of the time, I think it's
sure.
unintentional.
It's
I don't think
unintentional.
a
So to
conscious
so
effort
to
to-
DQ
Yeah, but
somebody
then
right
you
off
got
the bat,
his-
you know, it's
in
like
that situation, his knee's on the ground. He's like, you knew when you threw that knee, that was an illegal knee. I think I truly believe that, like, we're talking about the best athletes in the world when we're watching them in the UFC. These are not fighters who are fighting on 100% emotion going out there. Like, they're in control of their weapons. They know what they're doing.
Yeah.
So for me to think that, like, look at John Jones. John Jones has intentionally eye-poked people for 20 years. Like, I love it. I love that he's getting away with it. I love it. I root for the bad guy. That's awesome. But at the same point, dude, if you're a ref in that fight, or you're a fighter and you're fighting John Jones, you get poked in the eye the first moment, that should be either a point taken away or a DQ.
Yeah. No
John-
argument for me.
John
man.
Jones intentionally has done that his whole career.
Are you,
20
you don't think
years.
He has?
For 20
Is that what
years,
you
he's
just
done
said?
that.
Yes, I did say he's done it his whole career.
I think so.
I think he just has long fingers.
Hang on, I got to
I
turn
think he's
us
just.
off
I think he's
OnlyFans
just got.
here.
I think he's just got long fingers.
Hey, you know what? Listen, I think there's a better way to get answers to this. I don't want to. We have got Lucky Lauren Murphy in the house today, who has experience being
Poked in
In
the
the
eye
cage.
by
Eye,
John Jones.
knee
poked
in
in
the
the eye.
head.
John
Oh,
Jones has
yeah.
poked her in the eye 3 times. We're going to bring our awesome guest in here today, UFC superstar Lucky Lauren Murphy. Insert crowd noise and claps here, Diego. Yay! Miss Murphy, come on in. I'm going to get us off of OnlyFans now. You've been on OnlyFans just now. I don't know if you're okay with that or not.
My
but
debut.
You're welcome.
Sorry he didn't give you a chair with a back, which is an asshole.
Oh, you want to switch them up? No, I'm good. I'm good. Like a posture.
How you been?
Fucking awesome.
Did you get
Life's
to watch,
so good.
You get to watch the fights this weekend?
Yeah, I did. I went over to a friend's house. It was her birthday, and so she had ordered them. I love morning fights too. I
know.
love getting up and watching fights and just chilling on the couch. And
Those
then-
Abu Dhabi cards are cool for us to an extent, but like we're in the middle of 9 a.m. weigh-ins
Oh shit.
when we have a show, and then 12 p.m. ceremonial, so we missed the whole undercard, the prelims. And
They
then,
were that was the best part of the card, honestly. Yeah.
and then
Prelims were awesome.
and then the main card started at 1, so we finished up ceremonials at like 12:45 and have to drive an hour.
I like the daytime fights until about 7 p.m. on Saturday night. I'm like, fuck, when the fight's coming on?
Nothing
I'm
to
like,
do.
it's already happened.
Yeah.
And you're like, well, this sucks. You want this chair?
I
I'm not
honestly
gonna
don't
use
care.
it.
I
Are you
mean,
sure?
if y'all,
take this.
if
take
it's on
this.
your conscience, then yeah.
It is. This
All
is way more comfortable.
Thank you, Rich. You're no longer an asshole.
I'll take the dunt stool over here.
I
As you
can't
sit in a
sleep at
chair
night.
with
You're no
a
longer
back.
an asshole.
and then
I'm sitting next to Lauren. I have to match.
you're no longer an asshole. I'll just keep being one. All right, so you heard
His
us.
chair
you heard us
has armrests.
Talking a little bit about the Johnny Walker situation.
Yeah, yeah.
What are your thoughts on warnings and point deductions and DQs?
Yeah, first of all, I don't want to change the gloves. People are always like, "Oh, you need to curve the gloves so the finger." I'm like, "Don't do that. Let us because grapplers want to be able to
Yeah,
use
that's
their
going to
fingers."
make grappling a lot more difficult.
Yeah, don't do all that. But just start enforcing the fucking rules. Like, even in training, like even sparring and stuff, like when fighters are sparring, if something happens, we'll be like, "Oh, you get one." You know, everybody knows that.
Yeah.
And imagine if when we were training, our coaches, like during a round, if you get kicked in the balls, you poke your sparring partner in the eye. If you had a coach that was like, "Hey, that's a point," and then you're thinking about it your whole camp, you're going to be way more mindful of it while you're training. And then I do think that if people cracked down on it, they would stop. You know, maybe not stop completely, but they would be. That dude had to go to the hospital. The dude on the undercard, he got kicked in the balls and went to the hospital.
I see that.
So the dude get
Pull it
kicked
up.
in the balls, and the referee, what did the ref tell him?
The ref
You
told
didn't
him
get kicked in the balls?
You got kicked in the leg.
I heard that.
Dude.
As
So
he's
that's
like,
the same referee from the Johnny Walker fight.
Yes,
Yeah.
and to me that was the most Johnny Walker shit to ever happen. I was like, that's the most Johnny Walker thing I've
So that was what they were talking about when they said from the earlier.
Oh, look, here's the I'm sure someone's stupid. Log into TikTok.
And John Anik had said something about it, like
Oh, watch this here.
kicked in the nuts.
Do you see it? Oh, dude, that's clearly.
yeah, and nobody
Oh.
reacts like that when they're like
Clearly, look
faking,
at this
you know.
dude.
So how did the fight end? Was
Uh,
it
right
a DQ?
there.
Was it a DQ?
I think they went
No,
to
it was a no contest.
right?
It was
Yeah.
a no contest, and he had to go to the hospital. He got like an ultrasound on his
here's-
balls, and
Yeah, they said they were all swollen.
Listen, we had
Yeah.
a guy that got kicked in the nuts,
I know who you're talking. Yeah, it was
Here
one of the
at
amateur,
Fury-
it was an amateur fighter.
and it was a pro, and
was
his
he?
fucking ball exploded. Yes. He went to the yeah. He went to the hospital. I'm not gonna say his name.
Yeah.
I'll
I
tell
don't know
you
who
later.
that is. So I mean, Eric has done a great job of
Sujin
keeping
Curry
that
and-
confidential.
oh,
But wow,
But his ball exploded.
holy shit, dude.
but that was the end of the fight, right? Like he
That was
couldn't-
over.
Yeah,
Fight
he
was over.
couldn't
It was
go
a
on.
wrap.
He couldn't. They took him out on the stretcher and shit.
Yeah.
And like it was crazy because they
Dude,
took,
actually, I think I know who you're talking about.
they
now.
took him out on the stretcher, and then the doctor came and saw me. He's like, "That dude's ball just exploded."
Man,
oh,
dude,
he
that's
He's just
terrible.
fucking
dude.
Lance Armstrong
Man.
stuff right there. Like that's
Lance
crazy.
Armstrong.
Yeah. So no,
I'm so glad I don't have balls. Honestly,
I'm sure Joe feels the same way.
Yeah.
I'm sure.
Joe Murphy agrees.
I'm sure somewhere Joe's like, "Fuck yeah, no balls."
No balls for Lauren.
He's like, best choice she's ever made.
seriously, getting those things removed
It's-
was like the best thing I ever did. No, I'm just kidding.
Speaking of that, have you ever been around in a fight where a female is getting you know exactly what the fuck I'm talking about you're at weigh-ins and there was questions on whether or not she was actually a female to be there?
No, not that I've seen or experienced myself. I had when I was in Invicta, I fought a girl, and she said I need her in the balls. Like she said, "Oh, that was a low blow," and
Yeah.
so they stopped the fight and they like separated us. They gave her like 5 minutes, and I get it. Okay, it doesn't don't feel good. Any hit below the belt is an illegal
Sure,
strike. Okay,
right.
sure. So I'm like, sorry, and
Yeah.
we finished our fight. I won, and then I fought her teammate next.
Yeah.
And her teammate was a really good kickboxer, so I had her on the cage. I was trying to take her down, and I did knee her, and it was like right on the belt,
Yeah.
And she claimed it was a low blow. She called it herself, though. The ref didn't call it. She called it herself. The ref came over, separated us, and started us in the middle, and I was so irritated.
So like if a female gets kicked where balls should go, does it hurt as bad as balls being
It
kicked?
can't be as
It
bad.
it
It's
hurts
gotta
pretty
hurt.
bad. I
It's
don't know
gotta-
what
they
it
say
feels
that.
like for a guy, but it hurts, yeah.
So guys have to wear a cup. Females have to wear the
Hey.
protectors too, right?
So my friend fought
protect-
Holly.
I don't think they all do.
They do make
Some-
female cups,
but
but
not everybody wears them, right?
So when I had a friend
This is
that fought,
getting real crunchy.
dude, seriously,
This fight has stopped due to a
Hey,
clitoris
wait.
kick.
So this just to make sure, this segment is brought to you by Sheath Underwear, by the way. So, but yeah, so tell us about the crotch protection.
yeah,
for the
dude.
ladies.
I guess they make female cups. I never seen it, but I had a friend that fought Holly Holm here in Texas. It was in Dallas. Her name was Nikki Knuckles, and like I cornered her for this fight, and it was before, like, I think before women were even in the UFC, but certainly before Holly was, because it was a legacy fight. It was back when Legacy was around. And the commission was like, do y'all have groin protection? And we were like, no. You know, we didn't even know what they were fucking talking about. And they were like, well, you need to wear a cup. And we were like, well, we don't have a cup. Like, she doesn't own a cup.
Yeah.
So the commission sent somebody, I think it was Mike Jackson, to go get cups, and they brought back little boy cups. Like, for a dick and balls, you know, and they were like, just put this in your underwear. And Nikki was like, what the fuck? And then somebody else came back and they were like, you don't have to wear that. And then somebody else came back, they're like, you have to wear that. And anyway, she ended up not wearing it, but it was a great amount of confusion right before the fight about whether or not she had to wear a cup.
Don't you love state regulators?
Good old
I've never heard
boxing
of one of our
commissions.
officials make the check for a woman's.
So
This was in like 2013, so I think they've kind of adapted.
I remember the incident.
Oh, you were
'cause
there?
I
Oh,
still
yeah.
worked at Legacy then.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The real one.
The real
The
legacy.
real Legacy. And
The real one.
there was this. It was the inspector commissioner person.
Was that Arturo?
No, it wasn't Arturo. But they were.
Come on,
They were
baby.
confused off of boxing experiences, and were trying to implement something that's written but not really enforced ever in the history of ever.
Yeah.
And it's just one of those things where stupidity was trying to rear its ugly head over and over again. But I'm going to assume if a lady got like kneed in the ovaries, like directly to the ovaries, that would like.
No,
make
your
me the
ovaries
same
are up
thing.
here, though, and
Yeah,
they're fairly well
I don't
protected.
wanna-
It's
What are you
more
talking
about
about?
I have
the.
no clue where.
Like,
the
is she
ovaries?
fighting her OBGYN? Like,
I'm
how
just
are
trying
you
to
getting
think,
to the ovaries?
I'm trying to think like.
What are you talking about?
Like, aren't ovaries the testicles of a woman?
No,
like, they're
but
two.
look,
There's one in each.
Not the
They're-
ovary. It's
they're
like
kind of
if you get kicked in the clit, that
protected.
hurts.
Okay,
Okay, we're
I see
talking
that.
up the
That's-
middle,
all right.
like yeah. So
All right.
the
that's
sensitive part.
yeah.
All right, Rich. So we're gonna
Where's that
explain
thing?
Yeah, I know, yeah.
We're gonna explain the makeup of a vagina to Rich now, guys.
Can somebody.
We're gonna get out a diagram.
I know
We're gonna
there's an
show you
old
guys.
man in a boat.
All right,
Where's the boat? I don't.
This part up here at the top, that's the spot.
Like, I'm just looking for the ditch. I don't know what the boat is doing. But well, I'm so sorry.
Oh man.
I've never felt worse for my wife than I do at this moment.
So there was a lot of good prelim fights on the UFC card. We didn't get to watch them. I was looking forward to Frey, the female fight.
That
Jean
one
and
was
Frey.
that one was okay. Honestly, it wasn't.
Nothing crazy.
Yeah, that wasn't the best fight on the undercard.
She's
but-
out of Dallas?
Mhm.
Yeah, she's Douglas Frey, and what gym do they have? What is the name of their gym?
Who else was on that card? Was there another female fight on that card?
I don't think so. They were the only ones.
Jake Brennan's wife was not on that card, was she?
No.
Okay.
You're talking
Haley. Is that
Haley
Haley
Cowan?
Yeah.
Oh
Yeah,
she's
no.
a beast. I trained with her.
I know he had told me he was going out because they for a show for her. Like,
Yeah,
he's
so there
fighting
was
soon.
no other female fighters on this card. It was a fun card though.
That Shara Magomedov,
yeah,
the guy with the one eye, the pirate.
Yeah.
He looked okay. It's odd he got taken down a bunch and couldn't get up.
shit.
either.
I tell you
Yeah.
what's
One eye.
hilarious. So I was watching
They let him fight
that
with one eye?
fight. Huh?
He's blind in one eye?
Yeah, he's got the pirate eye.
Man,
And
that
they let
dude
him
was
fight?
like some kind of
Yeah.
werewolf
In-
or something.
in
man.
Abu Dhabi.
So
Yeah.
I was
All
watching
those
that
Russian
fight
dudes.
with Bo Nickel. So Bo Nickel's
Oh,
standing
no
next to
way.
yeah. So he's standing next to us, and Walker, shout out to Walker from the UFC, he's got it pulled up on his laptop, and we're sitting there with Bo, and it's funny because like
That's at official.
yeah, at
weigh-ins.
official weigh-ins, like I've wrestled since I was 9. You know, I've got my black belt.
You couldn't tell.
You couldn't tell any of those things, right? But I'm sitting there and like I don't want to say shit about wrestling. I got fucking Bo Nickel next to me. Like I'm not saying, but I'm like, well, the guy said, not get taken down. Fuck, I don't know, Bo. What should you do, Bo? You know, but watching with Bo, like it was pretty. It was fun to see him kind of break down this another guy who would be in his weight class, and he was like, yeah, man, the guy's obviously clearly got really great kicks and all that stuff, but look how easy it is to take him down. He goes, I would drag him down in 2 seconds.
Yeah. Yeah, Dana was talking about it post-fight, and he was just like, that guy needs to learn how to wrestle because he's not going to make it here.
He's the first Dagestani
You got
guy
such a
I've
big
seen
hole
who
in your game
doesn't
like
know how
that.
to wrestle.
That shows
Yeah.
though how the commission is like so different across the board.
Is there a
though.
commission in Abu Dhabi, though?
I don't know because we've
I
had.
don't think there is.
I don't think there is.
Well, this guy signed to the UFC, so he's probably going to end up fighting somewhere else besides Abu
True,
Dhabi.
yeah.
Okay, so we've had, on 2 occasions, I've had them cut a fight during the pre-fight physical for saying that the guy was legally blind in one eye and they were not going to approve him
What
to fight.
about we've had a fight cut because a guy had a broken bone at one time.
Yeah.
And you know how sometimes you break your bone, you might have like a little lump left over from scar tissue.
Oh, yeah.
And they wouldn't let him fight because there was a
wouldn't let him fight
lump.
because of that.
And he's like, well, this clearly been broken before. Well, it's not now.
Yeah, and
Like,
that's the way bones heal.
But
But
so-
I mean,
but
so
the
is this guy
UFC
going to have an issue when it comes to the States, if he ever comes to the States and fights?
I mean, sure, I phrased this correctly. There are certain fighters, like USADA doesn't test in Brazil. They don't test overseas. I don't think.
But
all the time.
USADA was
I'm
part
pretty-
of
I'm
the
pretty positive
UFC
they don't.
program.
They're part of
that-
the UFC programming,
Yeah.
but they're not a sanctioning. They're not a sanctioned body overseas. So there's so from my understanding of the program, and I could be completely wrong, is that there were certain fighters who like you don't see tested as much because they only fight once a year in the States. They fight overseas. Like you look at how many times has Patty Pimblett fought in America? Twice.
In Vegas? Yeah, Patty's clearly not on fucking steroids. I mean,
We had this conversation today. It's hard to tell.
It is hard to tell.
I could tell that Patty Pimblett is not on.
You're gonna tell me Wayne's not on steroids?
Come on, bro.
Look at
Flex him up, Wayne.
Look at hit him, Wayne.
I mean, Wayne's on
Look
steroids.
at that.
Clearly, man.
Wayne's on
Look at
steroids.
I mean, clearly, yeah.
That's all the HGH.
What else do you take,
and-
Wayne?
What else do you take, Wayne?
You
Horny
know.
goat weed.
Yeah,
Cialis.
all that. Dude. Yeah. Viagra, Cialis,
The little blue pill.
testosterone,
All of
TRT.
them.
No, I don't
I
take
think
any
I
of
got
that shit.
tested in Brazil.
Did you?
I think,
I think
so.
when you're under
be wrong.
USADA, they are going to test you no matter
They're
where.
going to follow you around, basically.
Yeah, they're going to
'cause
figure it out. I
think
mean, they're
they-
not with USADA no more, but
So yeah, they have a what is it called now? The World Sport.
Drug-free Sport International. Yeah.
Have you made contact with them yet, or like have they contacted you guys?
No,
yet?
but
So
I'm on
is
my
it all just-
49th fucking test, and I want my goddamn jacket. So
Is it all like so? You get whenever they want to test you, they just
yeah,
show
they
up.
They
show
just
up
show
to my
up at
house
the
all
house?
the time. Yeah, like 6 a.m. Because they try to catch me before they try to catch me while I'm asleep, so I could pee as soon as I wake up.
damn. And what if it's like one of those weekends where you're like, I don't have shit to do today. I'm sleeping in.
Dude,
still come
I've
knock
got
at your fucking
there.
door?
One
Knock,
time, a
knock,
guy
knock.
came and he woke me up, and I was in camp, and I was so mad because I was in camp and I'm trying to get my rest, and I like bitched at him the entire time, and he never came back to my house.
So they still send, do they have to watch you?
Sorry.
Yeah, they send a female like to
send
watch
females.
the females, but they got a guy that lives here in Houston. I don't know if I could say his name or not, but
I wonder if it's the same ones who come do the drug testing for our events.
I've seen him at UFCs before.
Since
I'm
they're
sure
local?
it's like an older dude, and he brings his wife.
It could be. It could be.
The same, or maybe they own the same company.
It's Sammy, the timekeeper, who brings his wife to all the events.
Sammy and D, Carolina.
Shout out to Sammy and Dean switching up what they were going to use to stop the rounds in the middle of our most
Shout out to
televised
Sammy for
round.
fucking blowing the horn sometimes in the middle of the
Yeah.
goddamn fight.
Dude,
He
they're
switched
like-
to a whistle.
Yeah,
in
they're
the
like
middle of
30
the Qatar
seconds
fight.
in, and he's
No
testing his horn
way.
out or something, man.
Didn't tell anybody. So
What the fuck?
he switched to a whistle because either his horn stopped working or he just showed because he used it the rest of the night. And Joe at least had to walk around and be like, "Are we using a whistle now? What are we doing?
What is going on?"
I didn't hear
Yeah.
a whistle and the rounds ending."
That was the other thing about Abu Dhabi is the horn sounded sick. It sounded like a duck was getting shot in there somewhere. It was like,
So did you fight in Abu Dhabi?
yeah, I fought
What,
in Abu Dhabi.
what was that experience like?
It was awesome. The best experience, one of the best experiences I've ever had fighting.
That was the first time traveling there for you? It was to
Yeah,
fight?
yeah, but it was during the Fight Island thing, so they sent us all. We got to sit business class. That's sweet. Joe and I got hooked up with a super sweet hotel room there. So we all had to quarantine. It was, it was during COVID times, and we didn't even want to leave the room. Once they lifted the quarantine, we were like, nah, we're good. 'Cause it was such a nice
What
hotel.
about the food?
I mean, I was cutting weight, so it was like, whatever. Like, I'm just gonna kind of eat whatever I can at that point. But yeah, the food, I guess, was all right. That wasn't the highlight, though, for sure. We went down to the beach after the fight and got to jet ski around and like.
Did you stay a couple extra days after? Or?
No, because it was COVID, so we were on the UFC schedule. They flew
Oh,
us in,
fuck.
flew us out. Like, we didn't have a choice.
How long was that flight?
15 hours, maybe,
Straight
something
flight?
like that.
Wow.
No, we went somewhere first. I can't remember where, but
Might have been Germany, maybe. I forget where. I think the
That's
connection's
fucking
in Germany.
badass, though.
It was such a fucking cool experience. I'll never
like that.
forget that. And thank you so much to Mick Maynard for like making that happen. 'cause
Oh, good old
Good
Dingo.
old
I'm
Mickey.
telling you,
Mickey, one more.
Mickey, one more.
just one more half shot.
One more. One more. Let's do a shot.
Let's do 6 half shots. Gonna fucking make 3 real ones.
Nothing like, and I think all of us have
man.
experienced, is nothing like Mick showing up clearly late for lunch, wherever you're going to have lunch. He's going to be late. And you'll see him for a couple minutes outside on his phone.
Yeah.
And then he's got that Mickey strut when he walks in.
Yeah.
First thing he sits down, shots? We doing shots?
Shot?
Shots?
Me and Wayne did that with him how many
Patron?
weeks? 2 weeks ago?
Yeah, a couple weeks ago.
Showed up to Papacitos.
Yeah, like I just ordered tacos. Of course I want a shot.
Yeah,
Yes.
give me some tequila, baby. Let's go.
So is that your favorite place that you've been to fight?
Oh, let me think about that real quick. I really enjoyed fighting in Houston. I loved fighting in Houston. I
Hell
don't love
yeah.
the Texas commission, but like, I love fighting in Texas. Gosh, T-Mobile wasn't bad, but but going to Abu Dhabi was the best experience just because of the way it was set up at that time. Like, if we had to fly like in regular fucking seats or whatever,
It
and
would've been
that
different.
would have been different.
You
If
got
we had
to
had
lay
like
down
the
and shit,
shitty,
right?
yeah, we got the TV. I mean, it was nice.
That's fucking
But
awesome.
if
You fought at MSG yet?
never fought in MSG.
That'd be badass.
But all my
probably.
best performances have been on the East Coast, so I'm like, hook it up.
You
Let's
hear
go.
that, Mick? Put it on in Madison Square Garden.
Let's go.
You have anything scheduled?
No, but Mick did call us last week and is talking about like when I could fight again. I'm trying to do Worlds this year. I really would
Okay.
love to win IBJJF Worlds. Like I won blue belt, I won purple belt, I'm a brown belt now. So if I win at brown belt, then it's like I'll
Black
be
belt on the podium.
black belt on the podium. Well, that would be cool, but also just like being able to say like I won Worlds at all the belt levels. You know, I'll have
Yeah.
the rest of my life to win black belt, but I've done it all at the adult level.
Are you
None at masters.
do you get ranked now under Joe, or is it
Brian.
Brian Marvin?
Brian Marvin.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I'm
so
sorry.
Good old Brian Marvin. We got
Oh,
a lot of
sexy
love for
Brian Marvin out
To
there,
bring
man.
Brian in here.
I don't know
one day.
about sexy,
Yeah.
but he's something.
Hey, listen,
guy,
Rich calls
man.
anybody with no hair sexy.
That's a good look.
all the
Anybody with
hair,
no
all the hair went from his scalp down
down
to
to his
that
beard,
fucking
right?
Hey,
beard.
to be fair, have you seen him without the beard?
No thanks. Oh yeah, I have
the beard
actually.
on.
When I
Keep the beard on,
keep
my
the
guy.
beard on, bro.
Keep the beard on,
In
my
fact,
guy.
comb that thing up like this.
Hey, hey, it's like, have you seen Hamza without a beard?
I can't even.
he don't have no
imagine
chin.
that.
Dude,
Let's
he's
see
got
it.
he's got no chin.
Pull it up.
That
He's
was
got
just a
wrinkled little
meme.
chin.
No, man.
That wasn't.
I don't
That
know,
wasn't
man.
real. I don't believe that was real.
That's
Diego,
not
fucking
real.
real.
Diego, you're gonna have to put one of these
He's right
pictures
here.
up
Look at him.
on the screen.
He
Yeah,
looks
but it's
like
not that
Nosferatu.
one.
He looks like Nosferatu.
It ain't
out
that
there,
way.
man. Look at that
That's just
dude.
clearly photoshopped or
Yeah.
somebody else.
No,
right there.
that's him too, though. Look.
That's an
see that
AI
shit?
rendering.
That's
Or
not.
something
That's
like
not really.
Damn.
That's
And
hilarious.
look, there's something when you get rid of your beard, like people just don't like you anymore. Like
They did it to you.
They
Yeah,
did
I know,
every
right?
time.
They turned on him.
They did
Every
it to
time.
Rich.
They turned
My
it.
daughter comes. Shout out to Grayson. I hope you're not listening to this. So she comes walking out, and she grabs my face, and she's like, "Mm," and just walks down the hall. And I'm like,
How old is she?
she turns 13 Saturday.
Yeah, teenagers are ruthless.
Dude, just
oh my
shook
God,
her
they'll
head.
say anything.
Mm-mm.
They'll
Just
say
walked
the
off,
truth,
and I was
yeah.
like, crushed my heart. I was like, damn. All right.
All I
well.
give a fuck is what my wife thinks. That's it. My
Dude,
kids, I don't care.
I didn't know that was your wife for the longest time. And then
Really?
recently I
Everybody
figured out
says
that
that.
was your wife. And I was like,
Well,
oh,
she
shit.
didn't come
okay,
out
that,
for a long
that
time.
makes sense now. Like your daughter and stuff. I'm like, okay, now I see it all
Yeah, Lauren's
happening,
like,
but-
I hope Eric's wife doesn't see him making out with the ticket window lady. Golly.
Eric's all cozied up.
He just touched
Eric
the
is
ticket window
messy.
lady's butt as she walked by.
I always squeeze her butt.
She used to not come out as much, and she really doesn't now. Like she comes out at the end of the show.
Yeah.
But like
I mean,
I
we're
remember
just so during Fury, we're so busy. If you look at like a Submission Hunter show, she's stage side the whole time.
Yeah.
But during Fury, it's just like
Does she
She-
train? Does she train you?
No. she knows everybody though that comes in and out of there, so it just makes it easier for her to be up there. You know, because I fucking forget a lot of shit. She'll be like, "You forgot to leave tickets for so and so," but I gave them to him because I knew you were gonna give them to him. You know, like she does it. I do that every fucking show.
I mean, it's a whole family thing for you. Like your whole family's been.
Yeah.
We've all watched your kids grow up and sitting over there on the sidelines, and it's kind of like it's the same thing with. I remember when Colt was like,
Oh, yeah.
was in Andrea's belly, you know, sitting at Legacy, and I'm like, she was so horrid looking, like she just looked run down.
I think Mick's gonna take offense to that one day. And he's gonna kick your ass for
Yeah,
real.
man.
He will never take offense to that. Never, because you should see the messages I get from her middle of the night. Anyway, they're like, it's cool to grow up and watch all these like families grow up, and it's just such a small little community. But yeah, that's his wife. That's his actual wife.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, it's not just a
Bad.
random
Good job.
ticket lady.
Good
I
job.
only got-
Eric.
and I only have one. You fucker. I hope she's not listening to this shit.
No,
Never.
There's 8 people. That's
Don't worry, your
fine.
parents
They're
will
not-
tell her. Don't worry.
Yeah, they probably will.
All right, so you fought all over. You've had 15 fights already in the UFC.
I don't know. I lost count. I think 13, 14. I don't know.
Did you go to the UFC from Invicta or
Yeah,
Legacy?
I did.
From Invicta.
Yeah, I fought in Alaska, and then I fought for Legacy one time,
Mm-hmm.
and then
I saw you fight at the Arena Theater, I think. For
Oh
Legacy.
yeah,
Jennifer
Jennifer
Scott.
Scott.
Yep.
Yeah, the Texas Elbow Massacre. That
Yeah.
was good. That was a good night. And then that was actually the first televised women's
Access
fight
TV?
that they had. Yeah,
Yeah.
it was the
Yeah.
first time a female fight had been on the main card, and
That's
was,
fucking
like,
awesome.
It was televised.
And it was a bloody mess.
Yeah, it was.
Who were you training with back then?
Alex Cisne.
Okay.
Yeah, he's the man. And then I had another
Alex?
coach named
Was it-
Pat Applegate, who doesn't really. He still coaches kind of, but he
Was that
moved to
with
the East
Ted
Coast.
Stickle and all
Ted
those guys
Stickle,
out there
yeah.
at that time? Yeah,
Mhm.
Ted Stickle and I want to say Pat Bierschwal and all them were,
Yeah,
were still
yeah.
there.
The Bison was out
Because
there.
it was right after it went from West Side to Gracie Baja.
Yeah. We trained with like T. Ferguson, and
Oh,
there
T.
was like,
Ferg.
yeah,
I
T.
remember
Ferg.
Damn, those were the
Yeah.
great days, man.
Dude,
I
yeah.
fucking love that.
He's the man.
I
Yeah.
love that era of MMA.
It was awesome.
really
It was
do.
really a lot of.
My-
it was a fun time to be
My
fighting.
favorite guy from that time, and I think he's in California now, was Craig Gardner.
I
Oh,
remember
yeah.
Craig with the
Remember Craig
mustache.
Gardner? He was the what was it?
was
The
good,
Violent Gentleman or something like that. He called it. I forget it. Had a really cool nickname. He come out to 80 songs all the time, and he had a brother Rand, and they both like were one of the early adopters of going to Thailand for a while. His brother, they came back from Thailand, and his brother just shows up one day at my gym. And he's like, oh, hey, I'm Craig Gardner's brother. I'm like, okay. I'm like, this monster's out here just like lighting everybody up. And I'm like, all right, you clearly have done this before. So that's awesome. Yeah, that old school time, those times. I remember when you guys first came down and Ted Stickle was there.
What year
and
was that?
2013.
12, 13?
13.
Yeah. It was like this change. It was starting that wave of like Legacy really taking off.
Yeah.
Because that was show 18. I mean, we were just starting to really like
Yeah.
rock and roll and get hot and heavy.
Yeah, and
going
Legacy
out
got
there.
so big after that. It was.
That's when
bad.
like it was when somebody would go to the UFC, they'd be like, holy shit, they fucking made it. You know?
Yeah.
Like,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It wasn't like somebody every month. It was
No.
very rare.
Yeah, the shows were a lot like. They only had like one show a month. The UFC used to just do a pay-per-view. They didn't even have
Yeah.
fucking fight nights
That's
or
what I was
nothing.
going to say.
and-
There's so many more events now. You've got to have talent to fill those
That's
events.
crazy.
Yeah, and that was the year that women were accepted into the UFC, and like Ronda broke through, and they started that 135 division for females. But
Mick-
before that, women weren't even.
You remember whenever
allowed.
Dana said he would never sign a woman to the there'd never be a woman's fight in the UFC?
Yeah.
I remember that.
Ask Mick about his. He's got a text that he says he still has on his phone from Ronda Rousey's coach
Yeah,
at that time.
I remember that.
And I remember him originally telling us about it, and
He
they had
wasn't
reached-
interested,
They had
right?
reached out to him, be like, "Hey, we want to get this judoka girl on your
Oh,
your
no
card,"
way.
and he's just like, "Nah, I'm just not really that into it. Like, not interested in it."
Yeah,
And
Mick
it
said
turned out to
that.
be like that was Ronda Rousey.
Shit.
But to be fair, like after that, like he had Lauren Murphy on the card, he had Valentina Shevchenko, we had Holly Holmes. Like he went women heavy after that, bringing them in. So like. That's cool. It's like those weird little opportunities that pop up that you just don't
You
see.
went into the UFC at 35?
Yeah.
Are you
mhm.
fighting at 25 now, though, right?
Yeah, I fought 4 times at 35 though, and I went like 1-3 in the UFC. Just had a really hard time with it, and it was such a different competition level too. You know, it was like I went from fighting like Jennifer Scott and like women in like Invicta, which at the time the women in Invicta were still ranked. They were like in the top 10, and it was like a big promotion for females. But
Right.
when I went into the UFC, I fought Sarah McMahon. She had been like an Olympian.
Yeah,
she had
Olympic
already
silver
fought for
medalist,
the
silver
she'd
medal
already fought for
wrestlers.
the title. Like then I fought Liz Carmouche, same thing. She had already fought for the title, and so I just really struggled with like the competition level, the big difference that there was. And so yeah, I went 1-3, And I don't think they weren't going to like renew my contract, but then they came out with Tough at 125, and I was
And
like,
you
oh,
went
I
in.
can make 120. Yeah, easily. I like make 125. So that's when I went on the Ultimate Fighter, and then things started looking up because I felt like I was more sized for the weight class, and I was a little more used to the competition level. I'd been training longer. I'd only been training for like 4 years when I went to the UFC, so I was really overwhelmed. By the
No
time I got
shit.
to 125, it'd been like 8 years, and I was a little more comfortable with myself.
Yeah, and then you went on this streak. It looks like five straight victories to get a flyweight championship shot. And, like,
I was there the night she fought Valentina.
No, that sucks.
I was
Terrible.
I was there.
Yeah.
Me and my wife saw you and
Fuck.
Joe and Bob in the back after.
like when you say it sucks.
Yeah.
Like at that point in time, it was you and her, clearly the two best females in
Yeah.
the world.
To get that shot is like, fuck,
yeah,
I made it.
Like I realized
I'm fighting for a world title
look,
in the
you're a
UFC.
competitor. You want to win every damn thing.
Yeah.
It was a
Sold
great
out
night at the
T-Mobile.
office. But do you ever step back and realize, like, at that moment, there was no two better women fighters in the world than you two?
I think eventually I'll feel like that, but like right now, I'm still pretty salty. I think, someday I'm going to look back on my career and like it'll be like a cool story, and I'm
Sure.
going to look at it all as a whole. But right now, when I think about that fight, it's like, fuck, I could have done so many things different leading up to that fight and during the fight. And like, I just think about all the mistakes that I made and
Sure.
the things I could have done better. And like, you do learn from those things. Like my next fight was against Misha, and I
Yeah.
dominated her, just using those like lessons that I had learned, But if I could go back and do anything differently, that's what I would go back is to the beginning of that camp that we started for Valentina, and I would just do so much differently.
I think I really do think when you look back and you get a chance to revisit your career at a later point in your life, like your two things. It's not like you went in and you lost against someone who was barely a champ.
Right. Yeah.
It's
yeah.
like
Yeah.
you fought her in the middle of like this
Her
stupid
dominant
run
reign.
Just
she
a
went on,
dominant run. Yeah.
to where she was literally considered untouchable. Like no one, like everybody who went to fight against her, like, well, you've got no shot. So it was just this, like, you were in the middle of that storm, and
Yeah.
I think when you sit back later on, you're gonna I hope. Like you hear some of the things that we're talking about, because like that was fucking awesome. Like for you to just for you to get there. I remember sitting here watching, like, and I remember we were sitting in her house. I was like, yeah, Lauren's gonna submit the shit out of her. I'm telling you
I
right
wish,
now. Like, we were
yeah.
all sitting there, like, because I had side bets with friends. So I'm just take all y'all's money. So you owe me about $250.
Yeah. You ain't even the first person to say that to me, honestly.
Man.
No, I just I remember being in the cage with her,
Yeah.
and like I had never fought somebody that was that focused ever in my life. It was like she didn't even fucking blink when we were fighting. I'd never even I had never felt that. It was like
Yeah.
all the women I fought in the top 10, you can feint at them, you can push forward, they're gonna react. They're gonna react to what you're doing, and you can kind of feel them like bite on things, and you can. With her, nothing, just nothing. And one time I went to go jab her, and I saw her like change her level a little bit, and her eyes never left me, and she was kind of looking at me like, yeah, bitch, throw that. And I just knew. I was like, nope. I put that jab right back. I said, no, thank you. I just put it right back up by my face, and it just it was one of the coolest things I've ever done, but it was
Yeah.
also one of the worst nights of my life. And
Sure.
like that's a hard thing to wrestle with. But I also know that like as a professional athlete and a high level athlete, that's what you sign up for. Is like Ronda Rousey said it. She's like, you got to be willing to get your heart broke, and so that's what happened that night. But I'm glad I did it. I'm proud that I made it that far. Like,
I mean,
yeah,
look
it was
at-
one of the coolest
like
things
you
I've
said,
ever done.
Your very next fight, you're taking on another
Yeah.
former champion, future Hall of Famer, and you dominated.
I mean,
Yeah.
Misha put Holly away.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Put her to sleep.
Yeah, I was super pumped about that Misha fight. I was so dialed in, so focused.
You
and
were the one not blinking.
Yeah, no, exactly.
Yeah.
I remembered what Valentina
chip
had
on
done
her
to me,
shoulder.
and I was like, I'm going to do that to Misha.
Yeah.
And that's what I did. And then I felt super confident. I was like, I'm the shit. I got this figured out. And I went and fought Jessica Andrade and got smoked because I just had this kind of arrogant attitude that, like, I had it all figured out. And that, that's just another lesson. I didn't think at this level we would keep learning them. I thought for sure I would be a little more consistent, and have these lessons figured out. But that's the game, and I'm still learning as I go, really. But I never had an amateur career, and I was never an athlete as a kid. So some of those lessons you got to learn wrestling growing up or whatever, or that people get to learn as amateurs, like I'm figuring out in the UFC.
That makes man, that makes what you're doing even more impressive.
Honestly, I love my story. I love that. Like,
So
I feel like I'm the toughest bitch in the world.
You got started in jiu-jitsu or boxing? What?
No, jiu-jitsu. I walked into a Gracie Baja in Anchorage, Alaska one day. I was like 26 years old. I was like, well, I took my kid in, and I was like, it's too late for me to like do anything or be anything.
Yeah.
Like I'd never planned on it, but I was like, you know what? I'll just try it, because a year from now, I'd like to have more skills than what I have now, which is nothing. I was so unconfident, and I looked at the ground everywhere I went, and like I never like could look people in the eye, and like I was really afraid of physical confrontation. And so because of that, I feel like people really bullied me around sometimes, and they kind of walked on me. And I started taking jiu-jitsu, and like after a couple months, there was a coach there, and he was like, dude, you're super tough. He was like, you need to go train with the MMA team. And I was like, I don't know. But it started like getting in my mind, and I was like, maybe I could.
Planted that
like,
seed, right?
I wonder if I could like be in a fist fight, you know? Like I was like, I wonder if I could like handle that. And so I wanted to try it, and I was just gonna do like one fight, honestly. I was like just gonna do one. And I started training about 6 months after I started training. I took this fight with a chick, and I knocked her out in 17 seconds.
Holy shit.
And so I was like, well, I literally was like, that doesn't count. I was like, I need another fight. Because I want to feel like the war, like, can I handle being like in a real fight, you know? And then things just took off from there. Honestly, like it really wasn't in my plans, but I feel like the universe just kind of has something different in mind for me. So
I mean, clearly nobody got out of the second round with you to your sixth fight.
Were you a white belt still here?
Yeah, I was a white belt up until I fought Jennifer Scott, and then I was a blue belt.
Woo, got them blue belts, baby.
Man.
Badass blue belt. Derek Lewis wasn't the best blue belt in Texas at that time.
That's what I'm talking about.
That's what I'm talking about. So being in Alaska, so you lived in Alaska, is that 30 days of night shit is real, huh?
Dude, Alaska's a different world. So I was born and raised there, and like it's a different.
I'm so sorry.
It's a different
I mean,
place.
what was it like?
Fucking, I hated it when I was a kid. So
Really?
isolated. I wanted to like live in a city and like go to concerts and do cool shit. And Alaska's like 10 years behind the times, you know? And there's like 9 months of winter, and
it's snowing and shit all the time.
Snowing and shit. Is dark, and like it's cold. Like I didn't love it. Now I can kind of appreciate the beauty of it and the seclusion.
Do you go back and see family, or?
Not that often.
Yeah.
Yeah, they can come down and see me.
That place sucks.
Why she's so
Come to
It's like
Houston.
a
Houston's
Siberian
awesome.
wolf or something.
Everything she's describing, I'm just like, that sounds terrible.
Yeah,
Like, no wonder you didn't want to do
I
shit
was
as a
raised
kid.
by wolves. I had to live in a cage.
That's why you're tough, man.
I grew up with a pack of walruses. Like, we just hung out, like sharpening our tusks on the side of the fucking.
Khabib wrestled bears. I wrestled walruses.
So you
Walrus.
stayed. So when you moved, did you move to Houston in 2013? Was that a move here, or was it just for the fight you came down?
So I had met Joe in like 2011 or something, and he was in the military, and he got transferred to Florida, and so I moved to Florida with him. Like he had to go, and I was like, "Well, you fucking taking me with you?" You know,
Yeah.
like
You met
you
him
ain't
in
going without
Alaska?
me. Yeah, he
Okay.
was stationed up there.
Wow.
And then he got transferred to Florida, so he didn't have a choice. So I went with him, and the coach that I really liked in Alaska had moved to Houston. His name was Pat Applegate, and he ran the MMA and jiu-jitsu program at Gracie Baja Katie for several I don't know how many years, but Pat called us up, and he was like, "Hey, you guys should come check this out if you want to train." And we didn't have no training where we were at in Florida. We were in Panama City, and there wasn't shit there. And so I wanted to get my blue belt. So I was like, all right, let me come out to Houston. It's a 10-hour drive. I'll drive out to Houston. I'll get my blue belt from my professor. And I came out, and when I was out here getting my blue belt, that's when Legacy offered me that fight with Jennifer Scott. And I knew Invicta had just started, and so I applied to Invicta to like be a fighter for them. And I was actually already signed with Invicta when Legacy let me fight, but they were like, dude, it's been a year or two since you fought. Get a warm-up fight, and then come fight for us. And so I fought Jennifer Scott. And then Invicta had me fighting in the top 10 like right away.
So you got a question, Diego?
Not yet. No.
At what point did you feel like the UFC is a goal or vision? Was that from
No
the
thanks.
moment you started fighting? Because the
No, fuck
UFC
no.
wasn't really.
Yeah, I couldn't even conceive of it because the
Okay.
UFC didn't allow women. It was never my dream. Like, I didn't start thinking about the UFC until.
So Invicta was like the.
Invicta was the
That
shit.
was it.
Yeah,
And
that was
I
the place
wasn't,
to
you
go.
know, I was surprised they even took me because I was like, well, I'm a white belt, but I've won like 2 jiu-jitsu tournaments, and you know, I was like 4-0 at the time, and so they did take me, and they wanted me to fight Holly Holm, and I remember being like, I don't think I'm really ready for that. Like, I'd only been training a couple of years, like Shannon Knapp or whoever the matchmaker was at the time.
Yeah. Okay.
And so I actually turned Holly down because I was like, I'm just not ready for that yet.
She was
and
still listening to that inner voice. She hadn't shut it the fuck up yet.
So they offered me Caitlin Young, which was like, she was in the top 10 and she'd been fighting a long time. And I was like, yeah, I could win that fight. So that's how I started in Invicta. But I think like after that fight with Caitlin, I sat down with that coach, Pat, and I was like, dude, do you really think I could like go somewhere with this? And he was like, yes, immediately. He didn't hesitate. There was no thought. He was like, yes. And that gave me a lot of confidence because I was like, damn, he didn't even have to think about it or like talk himself into it. Like maybe I could. And after that, it was like, okay, I'll just keep fighting till I lose. I was like, that's the deal I made with the universe. I'll just keep fighting till I lose. And I didn't lose till I got to the UFC, and then I was in. Then I was in. You know, I was invested. So
yeah, Pat's a great coach. We actually had him. So we housed our Jim and Katie housed Ted Stickles' team for a little while, and one night he was. I think he had his knee surgery maybe. And Pat came in to teach one night for him, and I was like, this dude's awesome.
He's
this
amazing.
Dude, he's so smart with the way he does his stuff and plans everything together.
And I was so new. Like I said, I didn't play sports as a kid, and so I would go to Pat and be like, I'm feeling fucking nervous. Is this normal? And he'd be like, this is totally normal. And then he would just kind of talk me through things and like.
What's not normal is that you had your first fight in 2010. You'd been training for how long at that point? Like 6 months?
6 months, yeah.
By 2013.
No Amy fights either.
By 2013, in 3 years, she's the world champion of the only female organization on the planet. You are literally the best women's bantamweight in 8 fights in 3 years.
Well, Ronda had already gone to the UFC by the time I won the Invicta belt. So
she wasn't there. Don't matter.
She wasn't, but she was the UFC champion, and that was where everybody wanted to be. I know, but I wanted to be in the UFC, and I was like. That's where the money is. That's where the competition is. You know, I was like, I don't want to. You know, nobody starts fighting because when people start fighting, their goal is to get to the UFC. That's the promotion. That's the shit. And so, places like Invicta and Fury and Legacy, those are all great places for fighters to get tough experiences and tough fights to prepare them for the UFC and make sure that they're well prepared before they get there. You know, and so to me, that's what it's about, is getting somewhere where you can make money. You know?
How did you get the call? Like, who broke the news?
Oh, shit, yeah. So I had a real piece of shit manager that he wasn't worth a fuck.
Who was it?
Wow.
We'll say his name. No.
Yeah.
Can I?
Yeah.
If you want.
His name's Chuck Witchert. I don't think he even manages anymore. But
So he didn't have like a management company?
Nah.
It was
He's just some dude.
He had a car lot.
Hey, kid, you got some real talent there.
Hey, that sounds like a car salesman name, Chuck Witcher.
And he was
Take you to the top, kid.
seriously, and he
Come
was
down to Richard used cars.
45% commission for me.
Pick you up a 1977 Saab.
Yeah, for real. For real.
So they called him?
So what are you driving?
Sarah McMahon was supposed to fight Sarah Kaufman, and Sarah Kaufman had already lost twice in the UFC, and everybody kind of knew, like, oh, you lose twice, you're on the. And so Kaufman would not fight McMahon. She like turned it down, and so I put my hand up. I was like, I'll fucking fight McMahon. I don't care. And that was it. So I fought her. I mean, I had like a 5-week camp for it. It wasn't really short notice, but.
So this was probably Joe Silva back then, right?
Joe Silva, but
And
Sean Shelby was my matchmaker at the time.
So did Sean call your manager, and then your manager's like, hey, Lauren,
yeah,
we
my
got you in the
manager called
UFC.
me, and he was like, I hope you're sitting down. I got great news for you. I was so pumped, you know, like.
Yeah. Where was that fight at?
That fight, it was in Bangor, Maine, I think.
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
It sure was, yeah.
Maine.
Fuck that place, too, so.
I thought you loved the East Coast.
You don't like Maine?
I didn't like Bangor.
What venue's out there?
What?
What venue, I wonder, was that?
You know why we went
Click
there?
that,
Is because
it'll
it's
tell
like
you.
Dana White's hometown, and he like
Yeah.
grew up there or
Cross
something.
Insurance Center.
Is that Ryan Bader?
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
Bader and
it was-
OSP.
And OSP?
yeah.
Tim Boach and Brad Tavares.
No shit. Let's see this one.
It was UFC on Fox.
Oh, that's when they had the Fox deal, huh?
The one before that was the Bader one, yeah.
So they started busting out all these fight nights. These
Yep.
are all fight nights.
Man, I fought in some whack places too, though. Like
Cowboy versus Cowboys.
Utica was another place.
In
and I'm
South
like, fuck
Dakota.
that place.
Sioux Falls.
Yeah.
Where were they at in Sioux
Fuck that
Falls?
place. I don't know.
It's another fucked up
Not the place that they're calling us to come to.
No, that was the Denny Sanford Premier Center. Actually, that is the place.
Yeah, that is
Is
the
it?
place.
That is
yeah.
the place.
Oh, so we might be there.
Yeah, maybe.
Fuck that place now.
Fuck that place.
I'm not going.
Well, that place is great. What are you talking about?
How was your experience on the Ultimate Fighter?
I loved and hated it. So like I was really like unhappy with like the coach that I had. I didn't love him.
Who was your coach?
Yeah.
Eddie Alvarez.
Oh,
and like
yeah.
I just thought he was kind of a prick, and like
Yeah.
I'm not down with that. Like if people treat me like that, I'm the kind of person that's
It was
like, hey,
Eddie
you're
and
a
who?
fucking prick. Eddie and Justin Gaethje.
Gaethje.
And so like in the middle of the season, I switched teams.
Yeah, I was gonna say like, didn't you cause a
which
little drama?
People were like, I didn't know you could do that. I'm like, I don't fucking care. Like it's a game show, you know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? I don't give a fuck. And I'd already lost my first fight. I got like just had a shitty performance and
Sure.
was super nervous. It's like Dana and nobody else in the arena, and I was just, it got in my head bad. And so I had a shit performance, and I was feeling some kind of way about it. And I had to like switch teams. I went to like the other team. I figured, fuck it, I'm already off. And like,
Yeah.
I loved working with Justin. That's how I met Justin Gaethje, and just he changed my attitude so much. He taught me so much about having like a good attitude.
Didn't
about
Alvarez
things.
like
Whitman
get your
too,
name
man,
wrong
right?
or something? And you almost killed him.
Yeah, he was like yelling at me, and I was yelling at him.
He was like, whatever, be like
And he-
so and so.
yeah.
Like, bitch, my name's Lauren.
Yeah, and then at the finale, I won. He called me Barb, and at the finale,
Yeah.
I fought Barb, which was awesome. And then DC called me the wrong name, and so I got to kind of like joke about
with
it
him
and
too.
make it
Yeah.
into something funny. Which I thought DC had like tossed me a gimme, you know. I thought he was giving
Yeah.
me, but he
But
really
no,
actually
he's like,
fucked
no,
it
I
up.
really
yeah,
fucked it
he
up.
actually really fucked it up.
Gave him too much credit.
So you fought twice on that season?
No, I only fought once.
Fought
I
one
fought the
time?
girl who went on to win the whole shit, and it was for the belt too, which was like.
Yeah.
That's my, you know, that's
Sure.
obviously the
Whole point of
dream.
doing it.
And so it taught me a lot about like having a calmer mindset, not getting ahead of myself,
Yeah.
like staying in the moment, being positive, all that kind of shit.
Oh,
It's
Nico
just-
Montano.
Yeah,
Yeah.
And then like she went on to have her own issues. She became the first flyweight champ, and then like
Never defended it.
Never defended, never
Yeah.
made weight, like never could get healthy again. Like, so it's crazy. People's mental shit shows up all different ways, you know.
How was it like being in the house with all those different personalities and being filmed?
The
and,
house looks
like-
fucking badass.
house
Every
was
time they
badass.
have.
Yeah, the houses are amazing.
So like I don't even know. So the house was okay. What really got me was like me and Joe were super close. Like we have a marriage that's like fucking
Yeah.
really tight, and I hated being away from him and not being able to like
Talk or anything.
talk or bounce my fucking crazy ideas off of. I made friends with most of the girls. There was only one or two that I had a problem with, but most of the girls we got along really well. And so every day they would let us, there was like a mile-long road that was outside the house, and they would let us jog that mile as many times as we wanted if we were just bored. And at first the van would follow us and fucking film you, you know, and like
Right.
make sure you ain't doing nothing. And after a week or two, they got bored with that.
Once
so
they
they
get enough
didn't
of that
follow
footage,
us.
like, okay, yeah, there's
So,
nothing
so
here.
they stopped following
They
you?
stopped
So
following
it's like a
us and
fucking
so-
prison. Really, a
Dude.
luxury.
So I had like lost my fight, and I was super sad, and I went jogging, and there was a bunch of people out that day, just strangers, and I was like looking around, and I was like, I saw a woman pushing a baby stroller, and I was like, that's the one, that's the one. And I went up to her and I was like, hey,
Fought her.
That's the
dude,
cell phone right there.
yeah, I
That's
was
the-
like,
yeah.
hey, like I'm on a reality TV show in that house right there. We're not allowed to like use any media. And I was like, I really miss my husband. I was wondering, I'll stand right here. I was wondering if I could use your cell phone to call him. And she was so cool. She was like an angel. She was like, dude, I'm super close to my husband too.
Can
She
you
was
say
like-
that? Like,
They
I mean,
already
it's-
know.
it's-
It's,
yeah.
pretty
Done.
common knowledge
What are
now.
they gonna do? You're disqualified, Lauren.
Well, yeah.
well, I don't want to get her in trouble.
Yeah.
Like,
Nah.
Give the money back.
hey, get ready to fucking edit.
Yeah.
We're cutting this shit.
We'll clip this. No, they already
Yeah.
know because
Okay.
Sajara narked me out. She's a little narc. But like, she let me use her phone, and then she was like, "Hey, I'll meet you right here every day this week, and you can call your husband." And so every day I
Wow,
called
that's
Joe,
awesome.
and I like got to talk to him and told him, you know, like I'd lost my fight and how sad I was, and it just gave me so much energy for like the rest of the season. And then that woman was like, "Hey, me and my husband are leaving on vacation. We're gonna be gone for like however long." She's like, "I can't."
I'm
You
gonna leave
know.
my phone under this rock for you.
Dude, she probably would have if I had asked her. And so I
That's
made her
fucking
like a thank you
badass.
card, and I was just like, "Dude, you're an angel in disguise. Like you have no idea what
Yeah.
you've done for my mental health at this point." And it did help a lot. And I did tell some of the girls in the house about it, and they were like, "Oh," because people do find ways to fucking get words out to, you know, they send kites to people and shit like that.
Yeah.
But like
That's
Sajara
crazy,
fucking
though,
told the
like,
producers, and that's a cunty thing to do. But
That really
whatever.
is. I'm sorry.
She's
She told him during the season.
I don't know if she told him during the season. I know they knew about it not long after the season, so I'm not
But it was
sure.
already
if it
over.
was-
Damn,
yeah, it was
so-
already over.
So had she
Talking
told
about
them
husband,
during the
man,
season,
back
they would have
off.
probably came and kicked you off.
I don't know. I know they don't let anybody
was
go
it that
jogging no more.
serious?
They
Yeah.
don't let nobody leave to go jog no more. Sorry, guys.
That's crazy.
You
though,
have to
like-
find a way to get your own phone
So
calls
it's
out.
Yeah,
literally
blame
like a
Barb
prison.
for that, y'all.
I know, blame Barb.
I guess they just don't want no shit leaked of who
That's
won.
exactly
Yeah,
what it
that's what it
is.
is.
Is they don't want things getting out.
Like you
So-
tell your husband, and then he could go tell
Yeah,
everybody.
It's
Joe could
everything,
go
yeah.
Would
to
you-
MMA Weekly or whatever and give results.
With your
Fulfill
experience on
targets.
it, would you recommend a fighter going that route?
Yeah,
The
I
Ultimate
actually
Fighter?
would. Yeah, even though like I felt like I was really cast as the villain that season, and they kind of do that. Like they have to have somebody, and usually it's a person that loses, right? They're not anybody that wins. They're gonna kind of make them look golden
Sure.
so that they can promote them and then put them into big fights and stuff.
God, there's so much money to be made with the bad guy, though.
Dude, and so
100%.
yeah, and I didn't really realize that, and I'm not a great bad guy. I'm good at being myself, but I'm not great at like purposefully being a bad guy,
Right.
you know? And I just didn't really fucking understand it, and having people hate on me so much really freaked me out at the time. Now I feel like I'm way better suited to
Yeah.
handling
See,
it, but like
let me go back there
let
now.
me go back now. But at the time, I just didn't really understand what it was
Cross
like
over
to
your
play a
Yeah,
villain
yeah,
or to play the
Accent all
heel.
day.
And so yeah,
I don't know which one's which.
So the Contender Series wasn't around back then, huh?
No, Contender Series wasn't around yet. So like, that was the only.
Yeah, that was the
avenue,
primary
like-
path.
So now you get like a 5-0 or a 6. You were 6-0 when you went into the UFC, right?
Because
I was
think-
8-0 when I did my 135 stint, and I went 1-3 at
Yeah,
135.
I think that season, I could be wrong. That's when they introduced the 25 weight class, right? Like,
Yeah,
because
For the Ultimate Fighter.
Yeah.
that was the whole point of that.
And the person that won the season won the belt. They were going to be the
Yeah,
first
yeah.
flyweight champion.
And what I'm saying though,
Yeah.
when she first fought in the UFC, you were 6-0,
8-0.
8-0 already.
With 6 finishes. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
now it's like a 6-0, 8-0 girl could possibly end up on Contender Series and not get the straight call in, right?
It's hard. It's harder now to go at like 8-0.
Because we just
mean-
had Rain go to the Contender Series at what, 5-1? Yeah.
Why do you say it's harder at 8-0?
Now,
I
because
guess
there's
'cause the-
so
yeah,
many.
there's so many
There's so many 8-0,
Oh.
8-1.
females. So
Well,
Dana's
and
gonna
not
let
even
them
and not
find
even,
out.
Brazilian,
not even just females, but like just fighters in general.
Yeah.
Like for us at Fury, you've got to be 8-1, 8-0 before you even get a title shot for us.
Yeah.
So to be able to get to the UFC, it's almost like you have to either have double-digit wins or a title from from us or from another promotion, or you have to have like this
You have to have
presence.
it,
You
yeah.
have to have it. You
Yeah.
have to have it. And if you don't, there's just so many. Like when you first started fighting, how many female fighters were there even fighting? Like there was.
3? I don't know.
Yeah, there was literally. It was
And it
me
hasn't
and two
changed
other
a lot,
chicks.
like on the regional for us, or they're either signed
It's
with.
hard.
Yeah, it's hard to find matchups
Yeah.
sometimes for.
Invicta shook things up for the women, though, because like before Invicta, women, you just had to fight whoever you could fight,
Right.
whether they were in your weight class, whether
Yeah.
they were near your experience level. It didn't. You just had to fight whoever you could fucking fight. And so women were fighting way outside their weight class,
Right.
and like they were
Yep.
fighting way mismatched opponents. And then Invicta came around and kind of got everybody in line. Like, no, you're in this weight class. You're in this weight class. We got women for you now to fight from all over the world. And I think when that happened, then female fighting really took off, and it was like that. That was what really kicked it off, I think, for the females. So.
So this whole time you get to the UFC, at what point did you start seeing more female training partners become available for you?
Well, I went to the lab right away, so I didn't have any really here in Houston. I just didn't really know anybody, you know, and I was going to stay with Pat and Alex no matter what, and I was the only girl at their gym, so I wasn't really willing to go cross-train and get away from my coaches. But I did go to the lab because it was a big camp, and I
Yep.
felt like I needed that
Arizona?
at the time.
John
Mhm.
Crouch, right?
Yeah.
Crouch was at the show Sunday.
Yeah.
We
Oh
got
yeah, he had
we got
that girl's
Olivia.
she's got good hands, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah. And they had a couple females there for me to train with, and a lot of smaller men as well. So like that was helpful. That was helpful for sure. And now I'm kind of at a place where it's like I love training with females. I feel like it's so much more realistic. It has to be a certain type of dude that I'll train with.
Where do you get to where does your main training camps now? Like where do you train?
So I go to Denver for my camps now. I train with the Elevation Fight team out there. It's like Corey Sandhagen and like Neil Magny and all those guys.
Yeah.
And they have a large female team there, and we're all about the same size and about the same experience level. So we get really good rounds with each other. And then on my off time, like when I'm in Houston, I've been going up to War and training with Rain a lot lately. I really enjoy training with her. I'm super focused on jiu-jitsu right now, so I've been going out to Danaher's out in Austin and training with John Danaher. That's been badass.
That's fucking badass, yeah.
I train with Joe a lot. Yeah, so that's kind of my shit right now. And I'm growing my business. I'm growing Deep End Fitness. Deep End Fitness.
That's the pool
Dude,
stuff we
yeah,
talked
that's
about.
the pool stuff. So I'm
Yeah.
trying to grow that, and that's where a lot of like my fitness and cardio has been coming from lately. So
You think Rich could make it through one of those workouts?
we would make
What-
you make it
wait,
through one of them
wait.
workouts.
You talking about the water ones?
Yeah.
I said, listen,
Rich don't know how to swim, number one.
That's okay. We
That's
love
not
people
true.
that can't.
He has to
swim.
wear a life jacket.
it's not true. I can wear
Like a
floaties,
floaty.
right?
Yeah, you can wear the water wings.
That looks fucking terrible.
I know it
That
looks.
shit's hard.
It looks
It looks
hard.
terrible.
It looks
Yeah, I
I
challenging.
saw Hellcat out there
Yes.
doing that with
Kristen was
Kristen
out there.
Patina
Kristen
was out there.
smoked it.
Yeah?
Dude, Kristen did.
Well, she's in great shape.
Dude,
that
she
doesn't
did better
surprise me
than
at all.
almost, and she's been on a swim team. So
There you
like,
go.
I saw
she
one of
did
your
better than
first-
almost any newcomer I've ever
I
seen.
saw one of her
him in.
first videos posting about it, and I was like, is that a kettlebell at the bottom of the fucking pool?
Yeah.
And my first thought was like, this
A what?
kettlebell's going to stay right there on the bottom of that pool.
Was that a what?
That's to
kettlebell.
hold you
Oh, yeah.
underwater.
Yeah, like, what do
You know who would probably kill that workout? Travis Took.
He came through.
He is a
Oh, he did?
Well, he did like the
Monster.
Warrior Crucible recently,
Yes,
and
yeah.
he said he was gonna get in the pool. He ended up like not getting in the pool, but like, yeah, we would love to get Travis in the pool.
Travis is a fucking Have you got a chance to roll with Travis?
Yes, he's an animal. He just submits
Freak
me like
show.
it's nothing.
Freak show.
Yeah,
Freak.
he's
I
a
know.
damn freak, man.
He's been a black belt longer than I've been training.
I'm gonna send you solder to Travis's house.
Dude, and the piss is gonna come out sparkling fucking
why is
pink.
it melting the
Like-
cup, sir? I don't
Hey,
understand.
Travis is a monster, man. I started training with him in 07, and like he never not amazes me. From
Yeah.
the first time I started training with him up until when I've seen him the most recent. I haven't trained in 2 months. But
He's still one of the few guys I remember
he's
that, like,
something else.
I almost, kind of, sort of, almost passed his guard. And I was like, oh, oh, never mind. I was like, that was just a trap.
That's the time he had the broken arm.
That was my ribby broke.
That's when he had a broken
Oh,
arm.
that might have been, yeah, that might have been.
He was rolling with
That
one,
might have been.
one arm.
Listen, I'd
Dude,
rather,
I go up there and train I try to make it every Thursday, but like when I'm in town or if I don't have a podcast or whatever, I try to go roll with that team, and it's crazy. Everybody's good, but Travis is a super good instructor,
Yeah,
which
he
you
is.
don't always find in guys that
Yeah.
are like as good of a competitor as he is.
Right.
But he is an excellent instructor, so I always bring all my questions to him because he's got good answers for everything.
Man, I want to get him on the Submission Hunter Pro stage so bad.
Dude.
And every time we're about to make the match or it's locked in, he gets hurt or his opponent gets hurt.
Ugh.
And it just never meets. But can you imagine to put him up there with somebody? man,
Didn't he
on
have
UFC
a
Fight
who
Pass?
did he have a match with? Like,
dude, he when we did the,
We took him to the Fight Pass Invitational, and he represented Team Fury.
and who
And he met Lovato.
Lovato. Okay, that's
Yeah.
who I thought it was. But
So-
Lovato's like his
his
black belt, right?
above.
He's one
Yeah.
of, yeah.
He's part of that.
He's
part
like
of
a
the, part of
Lovato
their
black
or-
belt,
Well,
right?
Lovato's bigger
organization.
than Travis, too.
He's a lot bigger than Travis.
And Travis kind of held his own. I mean, to
That's
not
what
get
Joe
submitted,
said too. Joe
to
said he
not
did
get
really
submitted
good.
by Lovato is like,
I mean,
kind of a fucking big deal.
Well, not
Yeah.
only not getting submitted by Lovato, but like you said, this is a guy that you know and respect. He's in your organization,
Right.
like you're under him through the way it
turn
goes.
the business on.
And now you got to go out there and you got to, it's not the first time they've rolled.
Yeah.
So you got to go out there like, damn, dude, all right, with the whole world watching. Hey, that
That
they
was
go
Fight
nuts,
Pass
man.
Invitational 1. That was
Yeah.
the best one, I think.
that was the best one.
That's
by far.
awesome.
That has
Yeah.
been done, because it was Fury versus LFA versus CFFC versus FAC,
And it came down to the last match.
and it came down to
Oh shit.
Cody Steele versus Julio Rodriguez, right?
Yeah,
In the
Greg-
finals.
Gregory Rodriguez, however you say his name.
Yeah, Greg Rodriguez.
And remember, Cody blasted him across with
I
that
thought,
double leg.
I
we had it.
really thought we won.
Abo-
So if I find out Ed Soares paid the fucking judges, shame
Oh,
on you,
shit.
Ed.
I thought we won that one also.
I did think we won. That was great. That's great. So you're really high in competing now, jiu-jitsu
Yeah.
and IBJJF. You enjoy competing for IBJJF?
It's okay. I probably wouldn't pay so much attention to it if I hadn't already won Blue Belt Worlds and Purple Belt Worlds. But for me, it's like
It's a bucket list thing.
Yeah, I
now.
won Blue Belt Worlds, and I was like, oh shit, okay. And then I won Purple Belt Worlds, and I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna take it all the way. I'm gonna try and win all the belt levels. I knew for sure we were gonna end up like owning a gym at some point, and like
That's good to have those
oh, it's
credentials.
awesome. So I mean, whatever happens. But like, I feel like my credentials are good, but like that would just be sick. I
But
would
you're
love
looking for the
that.
biggest ones like Worlds and Pans, and
Worlds,
you
Pans,
don't
yeah.
do like the Houston Open or Austin Open.
I've won I won the Houston Open this year, actually.
Okay.
So yeah, I'll compete wherever. Like, I love jiu-jitsu. I like to compete in jiu-jitsu. I like the jiu-jitsu community. I like that it keeps me in shape, and like, you know, when you compete, there's always a period afterward where I feel like your learning curve is like goes way up because you can learn so much from competing. And so it makes me a better teacher, it makes me a better coach, it makes me a better jiu-jitsu competitor, it makes me a better MMA fighter. It's a good way to like stay under the lights and feel the competition nerves and get your mental straight, you know what I'm saying? So
Do you get nervous?
Yeah,
Even on the tournaments?
Sometimes I get more nervous like for a sub hunter match than
Yeah,
I
that's
do
what I
for
was
the
gonna ask
UFC because in sub hunter it's like you got one thing. It's like you can only do jiu-jitsu.
Right.
And with the UFC, with MMA in general, you got a little more option. It's like if you're losing on the ground, you could try something else. If you're losing in the stand-up, you could try, you could put them on the cage or try and take them down or whatever. At least you have options. And I could kind of get like swallowed up by the crowd in the arena at the UFC where I just feed off their energy and like kind of dissipates the nerves. But I feel like there's a little more pressure sometimes with the sub hunter, like people expect a lot out of me or something. So
So we've seen you on the sub hunter stage, what, 3 times or twice?
3 times now.
3
I
times.
think 3. He's got 2 belts to show.
And
for it.
very dominant.
Yeah.
Is there anybody in the scene that you can think of that might give you some competition?
Shit, there's probably a lot, honestly.
I mean, because the brown belts that we've brought in, you've been very dominant. I'm thinking the next time we see you, it might be at black belt for like a black belt title.
That'd
Got
be
to start
sweet,
lining
yeah.
that up.
Is there anybody like you're intrigued that you'd like to see yourself matched up against?
In the jiu-jitsu world, no, because I don't follow the people the way I
Right.
follow the females in MMA.
That's
so
how I
I
am.
honestly don't even know. Honestly,
What about
like, any
MMA?
names.
Is there anybody that you haven't fought that you'd like to?
Oh yeah, for sure.
And why is it Ronda Rousey?
It ain't. First of all. Yeah. So I would have loved to fight Casey O'Neill. I think that would have been a sick fight. Like she holds some kind of striking record or something in our division, and like she's supposed to have a bunch of jiu-jitsu accolades, I guess, but I couldn't tell you what they are. But she's like ranked outside the top 10 now, so I don't think that's really an option. There's a lot of good fights. There's a lot of good fights in the top 15. Who's ranked right now? I think on the clip I just posted on my Instagram, it's the video game shot of me fighting Meatball Molly. I'm
yeah.
I'd fucking hella fight Molly.
How does that feel to see yourself on a video game?
It's badass.
That's
yeah.
fucking...
So I'm in UFC 2, 3, 4, and 5.
Dude,
So, yeah.
and like that shit that's going to stay there forever.
Dude, you know,
You'd be 60 years old and playing UFC. There I am.
it's some of the coolest like I've actually never played it. I've never
fuck.
played myself. If I'd known, like, we should have brought a console up. I could try
Yeah,
it.
that
but
would have been badass.
I
My
don't.
son
I've
is a
never played myself, and I've never played the
Game
game.
fanatic, and like he'll go in there and he'll pick the girls and he'll pick.
Hell
fucking,
yeah.
It's fucking awesome.
Tell him to send me some clips. If he
Yeah.
plays me, tell him to send me
Alright.
some clips because I'll post
Yeah.
them. But yeah, my son was like not super impressed with me being a fighter when it all first started. You know, now he's pretty proud because he's like, damn, my mom's in a-
Lauren Murphy.
Yeah, my mom's in a video game.
Mom's in
And
a
people
video
don't even
game.
believe him sometimes because they're like, no. And so he'll text me and he'll be like, Mom, can you send me some pictures of us together, like when I was a kid? You know, and I'm
How
like,
old is your
yeah.
son now?
He's 22 now.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I had him when I was
Jeez.
17, and yeah, but.
That's got to be the coolest thing for a kid, though, to know that their parents in a video game.
Yeah, I hope so,
Like,
man. But sometimes I
fucking
think with your
badass.
kids, you could just never.
Never
Yeah.
satisfy.
You can
them.
never
I'm with you.
satisfy.
That's
You're
just mom.
never cool.
I'm
Yeah.
That's
with
just
you,
dad.
Lauren. Man,
I
my mom's in
agree.
a video game. She's probably the worst character on there.
Yeah.
You never
Mom's
get
in a
the
video game.
respect
That
you
game
want from your kids,
sucks. So like, she's not in Roblox. Oh,
One
jeez.
time when he was in high school, I went to go pick him up for something. I can't even remember, but they called him down to the office, and somebody from his school walked in, another kid, and they were like, "Oh shit, Lauren Murphy! Oh my God, that's your mom!" And Max was like mortified. He was like,
Yeah.
"Yes, Mom,
Oh
let's
my
go." He's like
God,
getting
yeah.
his shit. He just wanted to get out of there. I'm
Yeah,
like,
when you go into
you
a
could never
place where
win.
like you have real fight fans, like people are gonna recognize people. Like it's funny because I went to Colts basketball game with Mick,
Yeah.
and there was like one dude across the deal. Oh, you were there with me.
Yeah.
Yeah, and right when we were about to leave, he went up to Mick, or his wife did. He's like, "Hey, my husband is a huge UFC fan, and he's seen you on the stage, and he wants to take a picture." Oh, absolutely.
yeah.
But like for that dude to point out Mick, the UFC matchmakers, because he watches the
He's
UFC.
got to be pretty hardcore.
Right.
Yeah.
So people follow the sport are always going to recognize somebody like you.
We took Max to a UFC in France whenever they had, not the last Paris card, but I think the first Paris card that they had. We took like a family vacation and just happened to be there. And so you know, they gave us tickets for sitting on the floor, and they took us like through the back and like, you know, under the arena.
Badass experience.
And then Max was like, oh shit, and he got to like meet Bruce Buffer and GSP, and that, I think, really, that's the most happy I've seen him about the fight world, because he was stoked to meet everybody, and he didn't really even know any of the fighters, but he fucking knew who Bruce Buffer was, and he was pumped to get his picture with Bruce. So
you train with a decent amount of guys in the Houston area. A lot of them are signed to Fury. If you had to pick like the next 2 stars coming out of Fury that you've trained with that could possibly hit the UFC, who would they be?
For sure, I'm going to shout out Paris Moran. That's my boy. I love Paris. And he's definitely got the skills and the mentality, I think, to go as far as he wants, you know.
And he's the Fury
He's
champ
the
now.
current Fury champion, and so
flyweight champ.
I think he's got some stuff to figure out, maybe with his weight cut and things like that. But like, that's what all this experience is for. So I'm glad he's getting fucking tough fights, because I think he could do whatever he wants in the UFC. He's good everywhere, you know. So, and who else? Let me think about that. For sure, I'm like leaving somebody out. I'm totally drawing a blank now. But
Yeah.
At 125, it's pretty stacked. You got a lot of options to choose from. Alberto Trujillo, you know, he was.
That's
in
who
that
Paris
hunt.
just beat.
Yeah. You know,
Yeah.
so he would be in that hunt too.
Josh Walker's at 25, 35.
Garule.
Trying to figure out. Yeah,
You got
Luis
Garule sitting
Garule.
around there. There's a bunch of
There's
options.
there's a lot of guys.
in that weight class.
You've come to quite a bit of Fury events to watch. Who else? Is there any females that you've come to watch? I think a couple amateurs. Ari Cobb, maybe?
yeah, Ari, Rain. I like
Rain.
watching Mia,
Mia.
and then Kara Green.
Kara Greenwell?
Kara Greenwell. Kara
Okay.
Greenwell. Yeah, she's badass. So.
Yeah.
Actually, honestly, I think Kara Greenwell would do just fine in the UFC. Maybe not quite yet, but I think she's got the mentality and the skill set that she could put on many shows in the
Kara's
UFC
fighting
if
for
she
us when?
wanted.
On this card? No.
No.
11-12.
11-12.
And same thing with Rain. I love Rain because Rain just, she reminds me a lot of me, like when I was early in my career. Like, she's not afraid to grind. She gets down. Like, she's tough as fuck. She's a hard worker. So
Rain is fighting for us December 3rd.
I heard, yeah, I'll be there for that.
And Mia's making her pro debut December 3rd.
Oh, shit.
Yep.
Let's go.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so- We plan on helping Rain make it back and hopefully getting Mia there too.
Yeah.
We'll see.
Yeah, I would love to see Rain in the UFC. I think she'd just shake up the division a lot. She brings something different to it, you know?
I thought she was doing really well in her Contender Series fight until she wasn't. I mean, it just takes that one mistake,
thing.
you know, but I thought that she was holding her own with this black belt, and it was just like, fuck, man, she got caught, and that was it.
We talked about it afterward, and it's like, you know, Jeremy Mahon was like, damn, you know, we had work during the camp on her not staying in people's guards, like just stand up, make them stand up, fucking get up and hit them again. And it's like, if that fight had gone into the second round, I think it would have been a totally different story,
I agree.
you know?
I agree.
And like, I was like, well, shit, did y'all do it in the locker room? Did y'all like do that, have her standing up out of guard in the locker room before she goes out? And they're like, no. And I'm like, no,
I think that's
kind
the
of on
last
the
thing that's
team.
on your mind, right?
Dude,
Like,
whatever you do in the locker room, that's, you know, you're probably going to try it in the fight. That's how I see it. And so if you work on something your whole camp, you can't put it aside 10 minutes before you walk out for the fight. If you've worked on something your whole camp, you've got to do it in the locker room. You've got to have it fresh in your mind. And so I think that's kind of on us, like, as her camp, for not really enforcing that, especially knowing who she was fighting. So,
yeah.
but, you know, Rain did good, and she's fucking tough, and she's got a strong mentality, so she'll be back.
Yeah, and she's hungry to go back, you know, so
Yeah, it didn't break her at all. It just made her fucking hungrier.
expect
so.
good things from her,
Yeah.
definitely.
I wish I had lost earlier in my career. I really wish I had not experienced losing for the first time in the UFC. I really, if I could go back, not that I would throw a fight, but just I would have taken more. I would have taken more fights, you know, so that I could experience.
How good
what a
do you have
loss.
to be to wish you would have lost? I mean,
Yeah.
Hey,
damn,
Justin
what a
Gaethje
problem
says
to
it
have.
too. Yeah,
Yeah.
Justin Gaethje taught me that. He was like, "Dude, lose early."
Well, obviously they
because-
saw something in you for
Yeah.
you to lose in the UFC, and you're still there.
Yeah,
And look how you've overturned that and came and fight for a title, and it's like,
yeah.
had a
I'm
good
proud
run.
of my career for sure. Like,
yeah, for sure. We're proud of your career.
Thank you.
Shit, 100%. Did you get a chance to watch the Fury card this Sunday, or you were tied up?
I was tied up. I watched a couple of the
Son of a
fights.
bitch.
Oh, I went and watched. Went back and watched Choppa's fight because I really like
Demas.
watching Demas
Yeah.
Choppa fight.
I like Demas too, man. But this is 2 losses in a row for him by rear naked
dude,
choke.
it was just one fucking little mistake, and I'm like, his ground game is disgusting. So, and then I wanted to watch Sebastian's fight because I trained with him up at Team Took. That kid's a fucking monster. Holy shit.
That kid is a problem
Dude,
in
he's
every
gonna,
aspect.
He could
Right.
go as far as he fucking wants to.
Yeah, Sebastian is 19 years old, and we had him set to fight a 4-0 guy. The 4-0 guy got injured. So I brought in a 5-2 guy for this kid's debut. So Sebastian made his debut against a kid with 7 fights. And he made it look like
Easy.
Dropped him with leg kicks.
so now
Dropped him with
Yes,
leg
with
kicks.
calf
takes
kicks.
calf kick, 2 leg kicks, then takes the back and
traps
for
his
those-
arm with his leg.
Yeah, seen that.
For those, and if you go back and you watch it as well, you can see he's using his far hand to trap the other arm away, and he's using his head to keep him from getting his arm back.
He's something else, man.
That kid for those who haven't seen this kid around the jiu-jitsu scene, he is a freak show on the mat
Yeah.
already. And like I remember seeing him probably years ago. I went out to Tony's with Classy Grappler. Went out there when he was doing some classes out there and trained out there. And I remember this young little boy who's now this freak show kind of a man. And when that cage door shuts, he's a grown ass man.
Yeah.
Like he's gonna smack you around. And that kid, again, we talked about this card having so many future stars and
Yes.
contender series for next year. I truly believe that Sebastian Ravitas is going to be on that same type of trajectory that Josh Van did.
He's
Yeah.
going to do – I talked to Eves for a little while last night. He's probably going to do 2 fights or 3 fights, and then he's turning pro.
Yeah.
And then he wants to fight every month. So, like, he wants to try
badass.
and be 19 years old on Dana White Contender Series
Yeah.
next year.
Let's go.
This card was stacked. We had Olivia Hendrickson as well coming out.
And Alex Lawal. I like training
Alex
with
Lawal.
Alex quite a bit too. She is somebody said it on the broadcast, but it's like, talk about a fucking athlete, like
Yeah.
a pure athlete,
Yeah,
you know.
super close fight. The judges, I want to say it was a split. Weird. Oh, it was one of
It was
those
a
weird
split.
splits where you got a 30-27 one way, and then
Yeah, that was weird.
Weird. It was a really close fight, fun fight to go back and watch.
Yeah.
Cameron Gutierrez had a great performance out there. Shout out to Lazarus Garcia picking up his second W over there as well. Ross Thurwalker improves his record. Anthony Johnson with the nasty standing rear naked choke.
Oh, he used to train with Joe. Joe was super pumped.
That
like
kid's good, man.
Yeah.
Very good.
He
That
put him to
kid's really
sleep,
good.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Jumped on his back
Yep.
and choked him while he was
Because
standing.
he had like a
Yep,
guillotine
give
and he
him-
passed it by to the
let's just
back or
Let's
something.
just
Yeah.
let that one go. It's one of my students. So I was like, yeah, it was like, hey, look, hey, it's an amateur fight. He
Hey,
took
lose
it.
early.
Hey,
you know
hey,
what I'm saying?
Hey, she just told you.
hey,
It's
There you
okay.
go.
take it,
Hey,
take it.
now Rodney did it on purpose. He lost on purpose for sure.
Yeah, yeah.
He wanted to lose early
He
in his
wanted to lose
career.
early.
Get it out of the way
Hey, look,
before he
hey,
misses
to
the
be
big
to be
time.
fair to Rodney, we changed him. He was
He was
on
supposed to fight in San Antonio
3
2
different
weeks
cards.
later. Yeah.
3 different cards. We changed him, and then like the week of, I'm like, actually, you're gonna fight a completely different weight class this Saturday.
Dude, was he like, Professor, dude?
Yeah.
He was like, throw me a fucking bone here.
You know, he was like, to his credit, he was just like, all right.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
And he actually fought in his weight class though.
Yeah,
made weight.
he's a 35.
He's a
Yeah,
35er.
he actually
was
should be a
supposed to fight at
25.
45.
Like, but hey, listen, he signed up to go out there and do it. You went out there, it didn't go your way, and he did exactly what I wanted to see. He raised his hands at the end, like, "Yep, I'm good. Let's go out." Like he was super happy. He goes, "The best thing about it," he goes, "I don't remember any of it."
Yeah.
Dude, Valentina kicked me right in the head. I don't remember it. I'm so glad I don't.
You could have
But-
told Roddy that dude ground and pounded the shit
Yeah,
out of you
he'd
after
be
the
like,
fight.
"For real? For real?"
I didn't feel nothing.
Damn. So Demas Choppa's didn't pick up the W this weekend. It's Anthony Valenzuela and Amanda. How do you say her? Is it Macio?
Maciosi.
Masiosi.
I did not watch that fight. How was that fight?
She's the biggest 115er I've ever seen.
Oh, no shit.
Yeah,
really?
She is ripped.
She's
Damn.
fucking ripped. She came from
Stacked.
Invicta.
Okay.
She's fucking.
Now, it wasn't the most exciting fight.
No, not at all. And
But-
I'll be the first one to say, and I'll be honest, man. Like that was.
It wasn't an exciting fight.
That's the type of fight that you lose viewership over.
Yeah,
Like you
but-
gotta go
I'll
out
tell
there
you a
and do
story
more than
about that fight after we're done and off the air.
Yeah.
Also, hey, talk about a fight that did not lose viewership? Javier Cepeda and Justin
Holy
Longoria.
shit, man.
That's
If
now.
you didn't get to watch that fight,
I'll
go back and watch
watch
it.
You're talking about a candidate for fight of the year.
Yeah.
Oh,
Again,
shit.
They
again
beat
here.
the shit out of each
Oh,
other.
love it when that happens.
Beat the shit
Yeah,
out of
3
each
rounds.
other.
Almost 3 full rounds, 8 seconds to go.
8 seconds to go in the fight. Javier Cepeda
Crazy.
is up on all cards by the judges. Amazing fight, but he's winning the first 2 rounds and the third. And Justin pulls off the rear naked choke.
Rear naked
with
choke with
8
8 seconds to
Oh, I
go.
love
You know Justin?
blood covered
He
everywhere.
trains over there with Eves, too.
Oh, really? I gotta make it
He
back up
locked in
there.
about 15 seconds to go, and I remember saying to Walker, I was like, "This is gonna be the longest 15 seconds of his life."
I remember
if
that.
He doesn't tap me.
And then you hear the 10-second, and I know he heard it,
Yeah.
but it was just getting
like,
tighter and
couldn't
tighter.
get
And he's like,
Yeah,
He's on his way out.
shit.
Dude,
we had
Candidate for fight of the year for
Yeah,
sure.
it's great.
100%.
that's badass.
Jermaine, is it Ponce?
Yeah.
Ponce, that's where my
German.
brother
Defeated. It did. I died laughing. Defeated Diarra Culpepper. It was a close fight. I don't know what
Diarra
the judges.
was pretty upset with
Very.
that one, man.
Well, I mean, he went in there, 3-0 or 2-0?
He was 3-0.
Yeah, 3-0. He's
3-0.
undefeated. So he took his first loss.
Another flyweight prospect that we were building.
So the only thing I can say is that
But
was
it was
a
another
fight.
one, man. It was 30-27. Then you had two 29-28s.
3-0 versus 2-5. Like you were going to. The guy had a lot of fights, but I think that was Diarra's fight to finish.
Right.
Yeah.
That was his fight to put away.
And I think that makes it more salty when you lose,
Yeah.
knowing, man, I
Yeah.
should have fucking beat this
But
guy.
I can also
like-
see where, if you go back and
fight's
you
a
watch
fight.
that fight, where I would see where Diarra feels like he probably won the fight.
But if you look at the guys that German has fought also, he hasn't had no easy fights, man.
No.
So that 2-5 record comes at a cost.
yeah,
Like, he's
Yeah.
fought nothing but Diarra Culpepper type guys.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, he's been that guy. He's always been the B side, and he went out there and he made himself the A side this time.
Yeah,
Hell
he
yeah.
was pretty disappointed. He's like, man, all he did was throw leg kicks the whole time. And I leaned more significant strikes, blah, blah, blah. But then you talk to Joe Solis after, who wasn't one of the judges.
Yeah.
But I just wanted to get his opinion. He's like, yeah, but I mean, he did more damage than Culpepper was doing on his feet. So, I mean, what'd he do?
Ricardo Canales lost to Oliver Jimenez. Another fun fight from Oliver. Had to overcome. Got dropped in the first round.
Did
Oliver
he?
did?
Yeah, Oliver got. You don't remember that? He
I
got
didn't see
dropped. Big right hand from Canales dropped Oliver in the first round.
Canales.
Eric was
I
making
mean-
out with the
What's
ticket lady when that
Canales'
happened.
Yeah.
Not good.
Yeah.
Dropped. Like he got dropped.
I'm going to have to go back and watch that.
Shit. So you think he
Yeah.
was like pretty rocked the rest
For a
of the
second.
fight? Like,
For a little while he was for
Yeah.
sure.
Well, Oliver has to have that in his mind because when he made his pro debut with us, he got knocked out.
Yep.
okay.
Yeah,
okay.
and
30 seconds in.
30 seconds in, yeah. He caught a kick, and the dude threw a right hand with his leg in Oliver's hands.
I don't know if Oliver's one of those cases where Oliver may be the best offensive striker in Fury. Like that
He's good.
kid is
Very good.
Is crazy talented. His defense from Muay Thai over to MMA has not quite caught up just yet.
Right, yeah.
Going from those big gloves to those little gloves.
Yeah.
He still doesn't he doesn't use the same type of movement. I mean, he's using the same type of movements.
He just has to still fit. He's got to figure it out.
It's just and
He's gotta
he's
fight more.
super young in his career when it comes to MMA still.
Yeah,
And
he's
like
gotta fight
I
more.
think I hate when we get all these comments on our Facebook page or Instagram page of people talking about these fighters stuff. I'm like, are you talking about people with 2 and 3 fights? Like, relax.
Yeah.
Relax,
yeah.
people. They don't even know what the fuck they're doing yet.
And fights are just, I mean, a fight's a fight. It's like you said, a fight's a fight. And it's fucking kind of anything can
Anything
happen.
can happen.
Yeah.
It's
Anything
50-50.
can fucking happen. And so sometimes you're the better fighter and you don't fucking win for, there's like a billion reasons why that could happen.
This next fight is a great example of expectations being so overwhelming. Giantasio was defeated by Anthony Cassar. Anthony Cassar came in with probably the second biggest hype train outside of Bo Nickel.
Right, because he's Bo's training partner?
Bo's training partner, they're best friends. He's a 2019 D1 national champion, a great wrestler. He's a very, very good wrestler. What people forget is he stopped competing 3 years ago now, competing. He's had one fight in that time, no amateur fights. And so you're trashing a guy. Like, people were upset because he basically just took Giantasio down a lot. But that's what he knows to do. And that's what he's still learning and evolving. And I feel like it's unfair. He's being compared to Bo Nickel. Like, Bo Nickel's a freak show.
Yeah.
Bo Nickel's already one of the greatest collegiate wrestlers of all time. And he's already come out and been this crazy hot prospect because he's he's ahead of the game. Like, he's also was a boxer at a young age. His mom
Bo
boxed.
Nickel was?
Yeah.
And is he black? Does he have his black belt?
No, he's got like a blue belt,
Or a
like a
purple.
blue or a
Yeah,
purple
blue
belt.
or- okay.
He was on. Was it the second? Was it the second invitational we did that he was on?
Third.
Third. He was on the invitational.
He
we
was
did as
on
well.
Team Icon.
Yeah, and it's just it's two completely different cases. You know, Anthony Cassard needs time to grow into being Anthony Cassard, the MMA fighter.
Yeah.
And Bo Nickel, again, you're talking about the 1% of the 1% of the 1%. Like, the guy is the first ever collegiate athlete that was a wrestler to win the Big Ten Sportsman of the Year. Like he didn't just he beat out football players and basketball. Like you don't do that as a wrestler, and he did. So it's a little unfair. I think some of the hate on Anthony Cassars is a little overhyped. Relax. Like the kid has 6 minutes of fighting.
Yeah, and I think too, it's like, especially with wrestlers like that, where their wrestling credentials are just so advanced. It's like, man, just learn some ground and pound, and you'll start finishing fights. Like, you know, but everybody kind of wants to focus on their boxing and kickboxing, and that's all gravy, I guess. But I'm like, man, if I had wrestled at a high level like that, and I knew I could take my opponents down and hold them down, I would work on nothing but ground and pound.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And then you're going to have 9 TKO finishes on your
Watch
record.
those
You know?
Brock Lesnar fights,
100%.
where he takes people down and then it's
Yeah.
just hammer fist.
I think-
outside of the
exactly.
head and arm triangle on
I
Shane
think
Carwin.
when we
It's all
look
hammer fists.
When we look a year from now, we'll be having a different conversation with Anthony Cassar.
Yeah.
He's gonna prove a
give
lot
the
of people
guy
wrong.
time to grow into learning to be a martial artist. Amazing fight. Sean Mora and Gabriel Wanderlei. This is two hot prospects we had coming into this fight. Gabriel Wanderlei undefeated, Sean Mora at 3-1. And this was a good case of you had elite wrestling in Sean Mora and just elite crazy submissions with Gabriel Wanderlei. And Mora was able to eke out a decision. It was it a split or was it
30-27.
unanimous?
No, it was unanimous. 30-27 across the board.
I think it was
He
the
was
big
undefeated
slams.
also, right?
3-1.
Yeah,
It was
3-1.
I think it was the big slams, because honestly,
Yeah.
he didn't do a whole lot else.
Okay.
He slammed the guy a lot, and then he got out of submissions.
Yeah.
Like
yeah.
that. Wanderlei was doing a lot of the attacking there, you know. So it was a very good, fun fight. Both of these are two guys. Again, I think next year we're talking about contender series guys.
Yeah.
Gerardo Granell and Luis Garule. That was a fun fight. Like Eric, you pointed this out earlier about Granell's boxing, and he's very similar to Luis in the fact that they just kind of like walk right at each other. It was a fun fight. I think Garule missed weight.
He came in at 128.8.
He's got to get that under control if we're going to talk about him being in the title
Him
hunt.
being in the flyweight division. So he made his debut with us at 35 because we couldn't find a 25er to fight him. Then he fought for us at 35 again against Jonathan Davis.
Yeah.
And then this was going to be the first time he fights for us as a flyweight, and he missed weight.
Was that Jonathan Davis's last fight?
Yes.
Yeah.
That little short bald guy.
Damn, yeah.
So that kid is now 7-0
7-0
with 5 finishes, right?
7-0,
5 finishes.
5 first-round finishes,
Yeah.
and then 2 decisions.
So
now
how
he's got
much,
2 decisions.
like, you know, when people miss weight as a promoter, how much do you factor that into like how much you're going to push them?
A lot.
A lot.
It's because the last thing I want is for me to send Mick or Sean a guy and he busts weight on the scale, and it makes us look bad.
Yeah,
It also depends on like where you are on the card when that happens too.
Okay.
Main
he
card
was
type,
the
yeah.
feature fight of the main card.
Right.
Okay, yeah.
Not only that, I've been shoving this guy down Mick's throat
Yeah.
for
And then he misses weight.
months, and he's made it very clear that he wants to fight every month until Mick calls him.
I think of like Henry Cejudo. Didn't
Yes.
he missed weight a bunch of times,
He missed weight
right?
his
Like, in
first
early
3 fights with Legacy. He missed.
Yeah.
He missed
Like,
weight. He missed
yeah,
weight for
a
us as
bunch,
well a
yeah.
lot. Maybe we could have been 2, but I know he missed at least 2.
I think Luis could figure it out. He trains at Factory X. He's got a good
Yeah.
team behind him.
I think he has to.
I don't know.
What he has to do is not be okay with fighting at 35. He needs to
Right.
stick at 125.
Right.
And that'll help him keep his weight where I think he needs to be versus he probably gets a little heavier when he thinks he's going to fight at 35, and
Yeah.
then he makes that heavier cut down to 25. I think he needs to just say, hey, I'm only fighting at 25. And
Yeah.
that'll help him. Like, you're talking about a 10-pound difference. Like, still for a
Yeah.
guy who's not
Quite a
very
bit.
big, that's a big percentage of his actual body weight there.
Mm-hmm.
Also in the card, we had Carlos Jimenez and Shane Torres. Man, Carlos Jimenez is never in a boring fight. The moment he gets his hands loose and free, and he's not someone's trying to wrestle him down, he is just swinging everything, man. And that crowd for him popped crazy hard.
Yeah, he had a shitload of people. There's a few guys. Him, Sebastian, Anthony Johnson.
Anthony Johnson sold out the whole damn.
Yeah, the arena went crazy when those 3 guys fought. It's fucking insane.
Yeah,
And then we had
Carlos,
Giannis
he won that first round, but it looked like the longer it went, the
Carlos?
more, yeah.
Yeah.
The longer it went, he looked a little gassed. Shane Torres picks up the unanimous decision, 29-20
So Shane has a
across
win
the
over
board.
Carlos. Did Shane beat Cam?
He beat Cameron too.
And Cameron Smotherman.
So he's 5-3 now.
It's 5-3. Yeah.
5-3. He's got a win over Carlos and Cameron. Not quite title shot picture yet, but like he's working his way toward it.
9-3 would look a lot better than 5-3
Yeah. Oh, for sure.
for a title.
For sure.
us,
And you've got to get some finishes.
and that's
Even here, man, you got to finish people. Eduardo Alvarado and John Giannis. Alvarado as well missed weight
Yeah.
in the main event.
Shit.
Main event.
Yeah, main event missing weight. So that's one
137.8.
for sure makes it hard to.
I was really looking
promote
forward to
you.
him because he did his whole camp with Brandon Moreno in Vegas.
Oh.
Like he was out there training with them every day, and I was watching the videos like, man, this kid's really good. But John Giannis has fought the cream of the crop for us, and actually, he's on his way up too. And he
Picks
won
up
this
a
fight
split decision win.
with another split decision.
It was a really close fight. It was interesting to see they both are boxing heavy fighters and boxing
Yeah.
first fighters. So
They
there was a
meet in
couple
the middle and just throw
There was
hands.
a couple head clashes in,
Oh,
in
yeah,
the
yeah.
beginning as you're just kind of finding your distance and time with this person in front of you. But John Giannis, is that a 5-fight win streak for him now? Is he 5-fight win streak?
He
4
beat
fight
Mo
win streak?
Miller. He just beat this guy.
He's 5-2.
Who did he fight?
I could be
prior to
wrong.
that?
I could be
Casey
wrong
Jo-
about the
Did he fight
streak.
Casey Jones?
You might
Oh,
be right.
Casey Jones. That's another.
Casey's another one.
That's my boy. Yeah.
Casey's another one. Yeah. Casey's been with us for so long.
Casey's the man. He's one of my all-time
For so
favorite
long.
sparring partners. I've actually paid him like for camps to come spar with
Listen.
me. Or I'm like, listen, this is your job now.
Casey will never say no to whoever I ask him to fight, and the coaches have to get involved for his own good.
Yeah,
He's
Casey's
that
the
guy.
man.
Like
Casey's the fucking
Casey
man.
will always say yes.
Hard worker, nice dude. Just, I don't know. He always calls me Miss Lauren. I'm like, you don't gotta call me that, but that's cool.
I mean, and when you look at Casey's record, he really only loses to some of the best. Abdul
Yeah.
Yeah.
Kamara is on a prospect list
Kamara's
like there
a
is.
stud.
John Giannis, Cameron Smotherman, the former 135 champ. You got to go back
Leo
to
Mana.
Peter Caballero and Leo Mana. He's got some quality wins, beating Delani Perry.
Amanda Martinez.
Yeah, beating Caleb Peterwright. Like he's got some great wins on there. Jose Johnson, he beat Jose Johnson. So
And he finished Jose, didn't he?
yeah, the
Rear
first
naked
fight, rear
choke?
naked choke. So he's just taking some tough fights, man. He's had 18 fights in
That's
Fury.
what I said. It's almost like best that his coaches get involved because if you let me talk to Casey, he's gonna say yes to anybody,
Yeah.
and he's gonna do what a fighter does. I mean,
Yeah.
How crazy? He's had 18 fights in Fury.
that's insane.
Badass. It's awesome.
I fucking love it.
Day one, man.
I need to create a
Yeah.
Hall of Fame.
Dude.
We need to
that
do a
would
Hall of
be
Fame, bro.
sick.
I think we
Casey
should
would
do
be in
that.
it, huh?
Look at Rich's
Oh,
marbles
yeah.
turning.
Yeah,
Hall of Fame.
yeah. He would be in it. He would be
Yeah.
in it. I think off the top of my head, if we had to name like
Jacob Silva.
Jacob
Jacob
Silva,
Silva.
CJ Vergara,
Nico Echeverry's got to be in there. I don't know how
Nico's gotta be
many
in there.
fights he's had under the Fury banner.
Shaquem Richardson.
Yeah. Gabe
Gabe
Macario.
Macario.
Yes, Gabe.
Gabe
Gabe's
Macario.
the man.
We're
That's the
getting
guy
in trouble. We're gonna
never
start
in a
saying
boring
not
fight.
saying people's
Ever,
names.
never, ever.
Never
And
been in
he's
a
just
boring
like
fight in his
Casey.
life.
He'll never tell me no.
Yeah.
And then
have
I'll
to
have
make-
Bob calling. Stop calling.
We'll
me.
have to make like
Stop calling my fighters there.
some,
Stop
some
calling me.
criteria of like a certain number of fights you've been in, because there's a bunch of guys who've had like one fight, you know, or two
No, but like
fights.
Macario's another guy that's probably had 10 fights in Fury.
Like how do
easy.
you not put Daniel Pineda in there?
Yeah.
Dan
I mean,
Pineda.
You know, like
What a stud.
Ike
that guy.
Villanueva.
He had
I
like
know-
3 fights for us.
Roger
but he only spent
Narvaez.
a minute in the
he
cage.
spent a minute, and he had picked up a belt. He was like,
Yeah.
"I'll be your 45 and 55 champ,
Ike,
no problem."
Ike
Sure.
fought a,
Sure, any
Ike
other
fought a
belts?
lot here.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I think it would be fun to do a Hall of Fame for
That'd be
Fury.
sick.
Yeah, we're doing a Hall of Fame. I just decided.
Hell yeah.
See if
I'm
DNA
so happy to be
Studios
part of
let
this
us rent out
Hey, you're
conversation
gonna,
right
you
now.
guys come visit the
upstairs.
hall. It's actually
Yeah.
it's just a closet in Eric's house. And we put one picture up of each guy in there, and then every now and then you don't even turn a light on, you just go to a flashlight and hey, welcome to the Hall of Fame. That would be perfect. All right, I know we're getting winding up here. Where can the fans learn more about you? For those who maybe are the first time getting to hear more about your story, Lauren, where can they follow you? Where can they see you?
They can come to my Instagram, Lauren Murphy MMA. That's where I'm at the most. I don't really fuck around too much on Facebook or Twitter or whatever, but fans can hit me up. Like, I'm pretty responsive to messages and stuff. Or they can just stop by our gym. So you can just come by Henzo Gracie Pearland. Henzo Gracie Pearland. So come check us out. Come train with us. Yeah, it's all
Where
good.
can they learn about the pool workouts and
Deep
stuff?
End Fitness. Where can they go do that?
Fitness, baby. All right. So if you are an athlete in the Houston area, you
I'm
need
out.
this. You need this too, especially Rich. So come hang out with Rich.
Yeah.
Like, this is such a cool
Hey,
program.
we
honestly,
should do a remote podcast and
From
go
the
do
pool?
Deep End Fitness from the
dude,
pool.
do it, and we'll get all
In
the
the water.
fighters in. Yeah,
Let's go.
You'd
Can we
be
drink
resting
Howler
on
in
a
the water?
floaty with a
Diego,
beer.
we need some underwater cameras.
With some howler head and some live oak. No, Deep End Fitness is the shit, and so it's super good for people's like mentality. So if you're a competitive athlete or like a first responder or somebody in a high stress environment, you need this because it's not just about the fitness and the workouts. It's more about the mentality you can develop, like how to stay calm under pressure, how to control the thoughts that are going through your head, and how to like push past that and have a good performance. And so that's really, to me, the biggest thing that we like teach is how to have a strong mindset and how to recover very quickly. So if you're a fighter and you want to know how to recover between rounds as quickly as possible and you want to be in the best shape you could possibly be and have your mind in a strong place when you go to compete, Deep End Fitness is the shit. That's what we do. So come check us out. I know it looks kind of intimidating online, but we have like
Looks
this.
terrible.
No, we have like a crawl, walk, run kind of theory.
That's
So
what
we
I'm
start
talking
everybody
about.
out.
I got
real
a kiddie
slow,
pool.
slow
Diego,
and
we're
low.
in the kiddie pool, dude.
And then we start, once you can do one or two things, then we start picking it up.
That's
like
awesome.
you wouldn't throw somebody into a championship fight in Fury right away. That looked terrifying, but you would start them off and build them up right. And that's what we do at Deep End Fitness too. So
Awesome.
yeah.
Hey, a big thank you to all of our sponsors real quick, too, as well. Sheath Underwear, Space City Collective, Bump Box. Thank you for this awesome ice shaker you guys sent out here. Live Oak Vodka,
Rump
Howler
shaker.
Head,
Yeah,
Howler
we're all
Head,
sharing that.
Howler Head Whiskey, OnlyFans. Make sure you follow us at onlyfans.com.
Thank you so much for coming by.
Yeah,
Fury
thanks
Fighting.
for having me.
It's
Yeah.
fucking awesome.
Really appreciate
Miss Lauren
it.
Murphy, thank you so much for being here. We look
Bad
forward
to
to
the
seeing
bone.
you.
Bad
Where's
to
the
the
song?
bone,
What the
baby.
fuck is song
Oh, yeah. Play it on the fucking cup.
on,
Play it
man.
on the
We got-
shaker.
Insert music now.
You're ridiculous.
Missed that
It's such a
opportunity.
crowd. And Lauren, hey, just make sure you know that every time you walk out there, the entire H-Town community in Fury is walking out there with you,
Thank
following
you.
behind you.
Thank you.
Hey,
Thank
and
you.
Lauren is a free Fury Tickets for Life member.
Ooh, there's only 7 of them. I don't know who the other 6 are.
There's only
It's
one
a big
free
fan.
Fury Tickets for Life members, Lauren.
It's me.
That's what I'm
That's
talking about. There you go. There you go.
Can't always guarantee a ticket for Joe, but Lauren.
I'll just be FaceTiming him for
Joe, hey.
I'm sorry, Joe. We're all out, man.
Joe just standing at the back door. What's the?
My wife's in there.
All right, man. Let's do it, Wayne.
Hey, guys, the time for talk is over. This has been Fury Unleashed.